Chapter 3082 Sea Dragon Woman Han Sun threw a punch into the water. The water exploded. The woman's reflection shattered with the waves. In between the shattered waves of water, he saw the woman twist her smile. When the water's surface was calm again, Han Sun had another look. The reflection in the water was his face. He was not seeing the woman again. Han Sun knew this was not over yet. He had not managed to kill the big sky demon. He did not know how to kill the big sky demon. Bald Guy looked at Han Sun and asked with confusion, "Are you okay?" "It is nothing. I was just mistaken. I thought there was a gene race in the water," Han Sun casually explained as he carried on his way. On the way, he kept having a glimpse at the reflection in the water. He only saw his face. The big sky demon was not revealing itself again. Bald Guy followed Han Sun and asked, "Brother, where are you going?" Han Sun did not answer. He frowned and asked, "Why are you following me?" Bald Guy smiled. "Holy Light River is a dangerous place. It is good to have more people so you can watch out for each other. Are you going to hunt gene races or dig up gene eggs? If you are, I can help." "There is no need for any of that." Han Sun rolled his eyes and readied himself to leave. He had seen people who were shameless before, but he had never seen someone this bad before. He was the one who had just been saved, yet he was talking like that. That was a rare sort of genius. "That is fine," Bald Guy said. "What is your name? I remember all the handsome men in Jade Wall City, but I have never seen you before." He was obviously not very shy. He was happy asking Han Sun all sorts of questions. "If you do not leave now and you encounter danger again, I will not save you," Han Sun said. Bald Guy thumped his chest and said, "If it is not some scary existence like the big sky demon, it cannot do anything to me. I am Bald Guy. Don't worry. With me here, even if there are some scary creatures around, I can guarantee your protection." Han Sun was speechless. He could not be bothered talking to him, so he maintained his silence and kept on walking. Regarding people like Gong Shu Jin, if he wanted to murder another, he did not have to commit the deed himself. Mr. God Shu was famous. Who knew how many god pulses that had shocked the universe they had managed to dig up? They had countless high-level gene eggs, and they had many powerful gene casters as followers. There were many gene casters like Lu Jiu in Gongshai Manor. Plus, a lot of those bosses were trying to have a good relationship with Mr. Gong Shu. He only had to say a word and many elites and nobles would scramble to kill for him. Having a few gene casters die was fine if they earned favor with Mr. Gong Shu. The nobles thought such favor was worth the lives of a few gene casters. Lu Jiu had died in front of Gong Shu Jin. That made him feel humiliated. He decided to send someone else to murder Han Senator. He wanted to see Han Sun die in front of him. It would have to be a nice and slow death. Gong Shu Jin was not a reckless person. Although he hated Han Sun and wanted to murder him, he had to be very careful about it. He brought together a group of loyal gene casters and hired a gene caster, who Mr. Gong Shu took more seriously. His name was Hua Nongyu. Hua Nongyu was saved from a land pulse by Mr. Gong Shu. To pay Mr. Gong Shu back for saving him, Hua Nongyu followed Mr. Gong Shu. Otherwise, with his power he would not have been the best Mr. Hua Nongyu followed Gong Shu Jin's father for 50 years, but his face still looked as if he was around 20 years old. He looked rather handsome. He had to be one of the most handsome men in Jade Wall City. At the same time, Gong Shu Jin knew the trick Hua Nongyu would use. Although he was very proud, in front of Hua Nongyu he was very polite. Gong Shu Jin looked at Hua Nongyu and politely said, "Uncle Hua, we have located that kid. What do you think we should do?" Hua Nongyu was holding a fan, but he did not open it. He put it in his other hand, smiled and said, "Judging from the trace, another person is accompanying him. We should figure out who that other person is before doing anything." "That is easy," Gong Shu Jin said to one of the older men present. "Old Zhao, you can do this." "Do not worry, mister," the old man replied. He summoned a gene race that looked like an eagle. He combined with it and became an eagle-faced monster. He flapped his wings and flew into the sky. He was headed to Han Sun's location. Gong Shu Jin smiled at Hua Nongyu and said, "Old Zhao has the title Hawkeye Old Zhao. He combines with the Spirit Eye Eagle. It is king class, but it is very powerful. It can enable your vision to see an ant that is 100 miles away. It is very good for investigative work. Huan Nongyu nodded. He smiled and did not say anything. On his way, Hansen had been thinking about how he might best remove the presence of Bald Guy, but the guy was like candy. He could not get rid of him. Bald Guy pulled Hansen closer. He pointed to the mountain and said, "Brother Han, don't go yet. I think this place has gene eggs here. Do you have land pull skills?" Hansen was shocked. He looked at Bald Guy. The man was so big, but he did not look like the sort of person that could learn land pulses. Bald Guy laughed. "Of course, my master is one of the third best misters in the Qin Kingdom. I am very good at looking for land pulses and digging up gene eggs. I am not as good as him, but I am better than most misters." "That's good. You dig gene eggs here. There is something I need to go do in the meantime." After speaking, Hansen readied himself to go on ahead. With Bald Guy following him, he could not use the Xian Yellow Sutra and turn gene races into an egg. He had already wasted so many opportunities as it was. "Brother Han, listen to me. Look here. 2 streams are coming into one. When it comes to land pull skills, this landscape is called Sea Dragon Woman. It says that where the dragons come together is where you will get gene eggs." After that, Bald Guy had a look around. He kept checking and saying, "Holy Light River is a super big land pulse. The magnetic forces here are very strong. There is a Sea Dragon Woman here, so the gene egg must be very unique. Brother Han, you saved my life earlier. The gene egg here is how I am going to pay you back. I will give you all the spoils." "Really? Is what you are saying true?" Hansen looked at Bald Guy with a bit of distrust. He thought Bald Guy did not look like a good mister. Bald Guy thumped his chest loudly. "I will say that if you cannot find any high-class gene eggs, I can give you my big bald head for a gene egg." "I don't need your head." Hansen wanted to laugh. "Indeed. But here there won't be any high-class gene eggs. There'll be at least king-class gene eggs, and god gene eggs if you are lucky. Just trust me this one time, Brother Han." Bald Guy looked fairly sincere. Hansen did not take gene eggs seriously, but he did want to see if Bald Guy was useful. He stopped trying to leave, followed Bald Guy, and started digging. Chapter 3083 Blood Dragon flies to the sky. That parcel of land had a lot of dark red grass. It looked different when compared to other places. Aside from that place, everywhere else was green and jade-like. Only that parcel of land was dark red. Bald Guy said it was called dragon grass, but it wasn't just the name of this grass. Any grass that was close to the Sea Dragon Woman's area would become dark red, and be titled dragon grass. Hansen did not know what that meant. He let the man keep going on about it all. According to Bald Guy's location, they both started to dig. After digging 9 to 12 feet into the earth, they had yet to discover a gene egg. Hansen sat next to the hole, and had a swig of water. He looked at Bald Guy and asked, "Bald Guy, are you a genuinely reliable fellow?" Bald Guy felt weird. "I do not think I am wrong. This really is the Sea Dragon Woman. The gene egg should not be too deep inside the Sea Dragon Woman, so I do wonder why there is nothing here yet." Bald Guy kept digging while he spoke. He pushed his shovel down once more. Spring water suddenly flooded the hole where the shovel was. Hansen saw the spring water appear. It was red. Hansen shockingly asked, "This cannot be an evil spirit spring, can it?" "You know what an evil spirit spring is," Bald Guy said. He looked happy about it. "This is not an evil spirit spring. This is dragon blood. Only the Sea Dragon Woman's land pulse can conjure this sort of weird scene. Not every Sea Dragon Woman would present dragon blood water. If dragon blood water has shown up, it proves one thing. It proves that whatever lies inside this land pulse is something of extreme value. The gene egg will not be anything bad. I can guarantee you that. You can be sure that it is a god-class gene egg below here." Hansen looked at the blood water that was moving with interest. The blood water was red, but it was not an evil sort of red. It was bright and not at all dirty. It did not incite a scary feeling. It seemed lively. It did not smell bloody either. It had a rather pleasant fragrance. The dragon blood spring sprang out a few feet high. When it was touched by sunlight, it turned into a bloody sort of fog. It was like a blood dragon flying into the sky in clouds. Hawkeye Old Zhao was flying in the clouds. He saw the blood dragon flying into the skyward scene. He then saw Han Sun and Bald Guy. He did not know what a dragon blood water weird scene was. He hid in the clouds for a while, confirming that the two were trying to dig up a gene egg. He then secretly flew away. Hawkeye Old Zhao reported the situation to Gong Shujin and Hua Nongyu. They both looked at each other. Gong Shujin said, "That guy is lucky. He found a sea dragon woman land pulse, and he found a dragon blood water. There must be some good gene eggs there. That is great. Kill them and take the egg. That will pay back Mr. Lu's life." Gong Shujin got ready to send someone out while Han Sun and Bald Guy were busy digging up the gene egg. While they were occupied was the time to strike. Before any order was made, Hua Nongyu stopped him and said, "Do not be hasty, mister. Let's not alert them yet." "Uncle Hua, are you worried about the other person?" Gong Shujin asked. "You do not need to worry. I know Bald Guy. He is Mr. Wei's student Xia Yufei. His nickname is Bald Guy. He is associated with a little town's leader. With his identity and resources, he does not have what it takes to be a student of Mr. Wei. It was just because when Mr. Wei was near that little town digging a gene egg, danger befell him. Xia Yufei's father saved him, and he begged Mr. Wei to accept Xia Yufei as a student. He does not have anyone in Jade Wall City, and he is not very knowledgeable. If he is smart, let him live. If he is not smart, kill him. It is no big deal either way." Hua Nongyu shook his head. "I know about Xia Yufei, but it is not because of him." After pausing, Hua Nongyu looked at Hawkeye Old Zhao and asked, "When you looked at the dragon blood water, did you see some blood air like a dragon flying into the clouds?" Hawkeye Old Zhao thought for a moment and replied, "I do not know if that was like a real dragon, but I know the spring water was like a bloody fog in the sky. It looked like a blood dragon tornado." "That is correct. That must be the blood dragon flying into the skyward scene." Hua Nongyu touched his fan as he spoke. Blood dragon flying into the sky? When Gong Shujin heard those words, he was shocked. He was then absolutely thrilled. "Yes. Why did I not think of that? If it really is a blood dragon flying into the sky." Before Gong Shujin finished, he had Hawkeye Old Zhao describe the scene again. After hearing what was said, Gong Shujin was even happier. He bowed to Hua Nongyu. "Thank you for reminding me, Uncle Hua. If you hadn't, I might have ruined this entire thing." Hua Nongyu smiled. "You flatter me too much. You have the old mister's knowledge. You are much stronger than me. If you saw it, you would recognize it. It is only because I did not explain clearly that you did not know. When I followed the old mister, I saw a blood dragon flying into the skyward scene with him. That is how I know about it." "Uncle Hua has so much experience," Gong Shujin said. "You must teach me more sometime." He bowed again, pretending to be humble. Hua Nongyu was silent a moment before saying, "The blood dragon flying into the skyward scene is very rare. There must be a top-class gene egg there, but that weird scene is dangerous. If it is not handled well, things might turn out terribly. I think Xia Yufei has only seen the blood dragon water. They do not know the danger of the blood dragon flying into the skyward scene. If they did, they would have stopped digging already." Gong Shujin nodded. "I remember the books state that when the blood dragon flying into the skyward scene appears, one will die. To get the gene egg in a blood dragon flying into the sky, one person must be sacrificed to claim the gene egg. Is that really true?" Hua Nongyu nodded. "Indeed. When I followed old mister to see that blood dragon flying into the skyward scene, we did not discover it first. There was another very famous mister already digging the land pulse. That mister died a horrible death. That is how we were able to retrieve the gene egg without any problems." "How did he die?" Gong Shujin asked with curiosity. "I don't know," Hua Nongyu said. "He was fine the first day. On the second day, when we went there, he was dead in the land pulse. He died weirdly. His body was not damaged, but his body was blood red. He was curled up like a cooked shrimp." Gong Shujin laughed. "That is good. Let Han Sun and Bald Guy dig it up. When they break the blood dragon flying into the sky, that is when we take over. If Han Sun dies like that, he had it coming." Han Sun and Xia Yufei waited for the dragon blood to run dry. They waited for half an hour. Finally, the dragon blood in the hole was gone. Xia Yufei was dying to keep searching. Hansen wanted to jump in too, but he felt hesitant. He did not think it was safe. Chapter 3084 Sacrifice. Hansen did not have landpulse skills. He also did not know what a sea dragon woman was. Neither he nor Bald Guy knew what a blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene was. Still, Hansen's will was extremely strong. Although he was suppressed by the rules of the world, if something very bad was going to happen to him, he still felt a sense of worry. If something made Hansen tremble, it meant something extremely bad was going to happen. Otherwise, nothing would have touched his heart. Hansen looked at the hole and said to Bald Guy, "Bald Guy, stop digging." Bald Guy put down his shovel with confusion. He looked at Hansen and asked, "What is it? There is something wrong." Hansen looked serious as he asked, "Are you sure this is the sea dragon woman and dragon blood water?" After hearing him, Bald Guy felt strange. He looked around and said, "This is right. This is a sea dragon woman. I cannot be wrong. Did you not see the dragon blood spring?" Hansen was quite a moment before saying, "Okay. You come back. I will continue digging." "Does it matter who is digging? I think we are on the cusp of getting it now anyway." Bald Guy laughed. "Stop talking crap. You come here now and let me dig. Otherwise I am leaving." Hansen was not in the mood to joke around. Bald Guy looked at Hansen, sensing that he was not joking around. Bald Guy emerged from the hole with the shovel. He glanced around and asked, "What is it? Did you find anything?" Hansen did not explain anything to him. He could not explain it to him either. It was just a feeling he had. He could not put that into words. He took the shovel out of Bald Guy's hands, jumped into the hole, and carried on digging. He said, "You wait out there. Do not come down. Call me if something happens." Bald Guy was weirded out. He was not quite sure what Hansen was trying to say, but he still listened to him. He just watched from outside the hole, and did not go down. Hansen used the shovel to slowly dig. He did not use too much strength. He kept digging, continuing to look at the soil down below. He had dug 3 feet when he suddenly felt as if his shovel touched something. Those frightening fears that made him tremble were amplified even further. He did not even think. Hansen summoned the blood ghost spirit, and combined with it. His eyes turned red, and his back produced a monkey's tail. Bald Guy was excited from his position above the hole. He enthusiastically asked, "Did you find a gene egg?" Hansen did not answer him. He put the shovel down and used his hands to brush away the soil. He soon felt something. Suddenly, something was coming out of the soil. Although only a part of it was visible, anyone could tell it was not a gene egg. After all, no gene egg growled like a fishbone fossil. Beneath the soil was a gray stone. The part that was showing was like a fishbone fossil, but the fishbone was not like a normal fossil. It was not gray. It was black. To be a bit more accurate, it looked like some old, dirty blood that had coagulated. It was dark red. It was so dark that it looked black. "What is that?" Bald Guy felt a bit confused. He wanted to jump into the hole, get closer, and have a more intimate look. "Don't move." Hansen stopped Bald Guy. He used the shovel to dig around the soil. He noticed it was not a fishbone fossil because the fossil was 12 feet long. The fossil's bones were crooked. They resembled those of a dragon. The fossil was dragon bones. Blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. "Oh no. Hansen. You need to get out of there." Upon seeing the entire fossil, Bald Guy's expression face changed. He screamed. It was too late. The moment he spoke, the dragon bones shone with a blood light. It made the entire hole glow red. Looking at it from afar, one would have thought it was a lava pool. "Hansen, are you okay? You need to come out," Bald Guy shouted from above. He summoned a gene race to combine with, and tried to go into the hole. "Bald Guy, save your power. This is a blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. It requires a human sacrifice to break it, but the sacrifice will never live. You cannot die for this." Gong Shu Jin led a bunch of gene casters and approached them. He coldly looked at Bald Guy as he spoke. "Gong Shu Jin? Why are you here?" Bald Guy's expression changed. "Bald Guy, you and I have no grudge, But you just had to get involved with this guy. You are very unlucky. Gong Shu Jin did not explain. He waved his hands. A few of the gene casters behaved like wolves and tigers, and leaped toward Bald Guy. As they traveled at a high speed, some of them turned into something that was part tiger, wolf, and man. Some of them turned into bird men. One of them was even weirder. His upper body was human while his lower body was that of a cow. Bald Guy's expression suddenly changed. Although his gene races were not bad, he was not great at even fighting 4 people at the same time. Plus, there were a dozen of them. The gene casters had combined with powerful gene races. Basically, they were all king-class adults. Bald Guy was very powerful, and could combine with a blue-scale pangolin. His body was covered with blue scales. His hands were so sharp that they were like metal. Alone he fought everybody. Yet he was just as strong as a tiger. But he was just one person. Under the siege, he was quickly pushed onto the ground, which looked like fire. Suddenly, a few more gene casters jumped forward and kept him pinned to the ground. Gong Shu Jin, if you wanted the gene egg, I would have given it to you. Why murder me? Bald Guy shouted as he struggled to break free. Gong Shu Jin laughed. I want the gene egg, but I need to murder too. You just need to blame your very stupid idea of being friends with a dead man. After that, Gong Shu Jin put his hands up to his neck and performed a cutting gesture. He stopped looking at Bald Guy and looked toward the hole. The blood light coming from the hole was still burning like lava. It was shining with a red light. One was not able to see what was inside the hole. The gene casters each held a sharp blade. They were seconds away from decapitating Bald Guy, who was terrified. No matter how he tried to struggle, he could not move. He looked at the knife coming toward him and shouted, I am so sorry. I am not powerful, and I got you killed. Brother Han, I will serve you in hell. I will pay you back in the next life. Boom. Blood light exploded from the hole. In that shining blood light, a blood-red shadow burst out of space. It suddenly went toward the bald man. It held the hand that was going for Bald Guy's head. A hand touched the cold gold knife, which was made of a king-class gene race called cold gold cow horn. It suddenly broke. It shattered into pieces that splintered everywhere. Are you not dead? Gong Shu Jin looked at the blood shadow, but his eyes grew smaller. He could not help but scream. The blood shadow was Han's senator when the dragon bones burst with a red light. It felt like a power went inside him. It was burning and seemingly able to turn steel into steel juice. Although Han Sen's body was very powerful, in that burning, he felt like he was covered in lava. Although it did not hurt his body, it didn't feel good. Chapter 3085 Blood Dragon God Pulse. A burning power surged through Han Sen's body. It made the heat in his body rise. It was like the last purple light of a setting sun. This power. It seems to be changing my body's genes. Han Sen felt like the cells of his body were being invaded by the heat. It seemed as if he was undergoing some strange changes. Got Blood Dragon God genes. Blood Dragon God Pulse opened. In Han Sen's brain an announcement played. Han Sen was shocked. He checked out his information and discovered that there was an option called God Spirit Blood Pulse. Blood Dragon God. Destroyed class God Spirit Blood Pulse. Is this a God Spirit gene? Han Sen thought it was unbelievable. While he was in the Geno universe, although he had killed God spirits and earned God Spirit genes, they were God personalities. However, he was not able to absorb them and use them. Han Sen had always wondered if true gods really were the final level that a human could evolve to. Now, however, he had absorbed the God Spirit Blood Pulse. That was not normal. Is this a real God Spirit gene? Is this world the same in which humans can get a God Spirit Blood Pulse from God temples? Are they just the God Spirit Blood Pulses? Han Sen looked at the dragon fossil amidst his confusion. The stone was still there, but the dragon bones were gone. He heard Bald Guy shouting somewhere outside. Han Sen abandoned his thoughts and emerged to save Bald Guy's life. Bald Guy was a little annoying, but he was not a bad person. Han Sen did not want him to die right in front of him. Most importantly, he did not want Gong Shu Jin to get what he wanted. Han Sen crushed the cold gold blade. He coldly looked at Gong Shu Jin and said, "It looks like you didn't learn your lesson after Lu Jiao." When Gong Shu Jin heard Han Sen talk about Lu Jiao, He looked murderous. His expression didn't change. He coldly said, "Kill them all, but do not let them die too fast." A dozen gene casters agreed on the move. All kinds of powers were directed at Han Sen and Bald Guy. Suddenly lots of thunder, wind, and fire were everywhere. All kinds of light came striking down. Han Sen's expression had yet to change. He just stepped forward, but it was extremely weird. It made people unable to see where he was stepping. At the same time, his fist was striking out. Roar! Han Sen's fist had purple dragon air striking out with an overbearing presence. It was like it was destroying everything. It punched a dozen gene casters and sent them flying. Some gene casters had their skulls cracked. Some gene casters had their chests caved in. Some gene casters simply exploded. A dozen gene casters were killed in the blink of an eye. Out of a dozen gene casters, only 3 survived. Their arms were broken and cracked. They rolled on the ground crying out in agony. Han Sen did not expect the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse power to be so overbearing. Seeing the purple dragon air rise, he was shocked. His punching power was very strong. It was like a destroyed class god spirit. It was not just him now having a god spirit blood pulse. Bald Guy's mouth opened wide as he watched the purple air rise. Han Sen was like a god spirit descending from the sky. Bald Guy's mouth seemed like it would never close. Gong Shujin's face was pale. Han Sen killed a dozen gene casters who had combined with king-class gene races in a single punch. Even for him who had a god-class gene race, that sort of power was not something he could achieve. God-spirit combination. He was chosen by a god. A real god-blood noble. Hua Nongyu's expression changed. He ran next to Gong Shujin and pulled him away. They moved far from there like a bolt of lightning. Hua Nongyu knew how scary a god-blood noble was. It meant he could communicate with god spirits. Something as powerful as someone being able to combine with a god spirit was not something they could challenge. Each god-blood noble had a very strong existence. They were the true leaders and guardians of a kingdom. Every king in the 7 kingdoms was an individual chosen by a god. They were very high-class people. They were able to combine with god spirits. Nobles like that existed in every kingdom, but there were not many of them. After all, not all humans earned the blessing of a god spirit. It was not just something as simple as a god spirit blessing. It was about fighting with god spirits. Even the lowest class god-blood noble had a scary battle power that ordinary people did not have. Gong Shujin's face turned pale the moment he heard the words god-blood noble. Mr. Gong Shu had lots of people, but no one would dare to offend a god-blood noble. Impossible. He is just a redneck from a small town. How could he be a god-blood noble? Gong Shujin was in complete disbelief. Are you going? Han Sen's body was enveloped in a purple mist that was like purple dragon air. His body moved. He was already on cloud 9, but he suddenly arrived behind Hua Nongyu and Gong Shujin. Hua Nongyu's eyes looked sharp. His hands pulled Gong Shujin far away. His body released lightning. His hair was like a demon god and stood straight up. Red mist light covered his body. It had an aura that could destroy the universe. He waved a punch at Han Sr. Han Sen was still swinging a punch like normal. The purple dragon air was like an overbearing dragon in the sky that was breaking the universe. It broke Hua Nongyu's lightning mist. Hua Nongyu's body was hit by the purple dragon air. He turned into petals that shattered. He was like a sakura flower being blown everywhere. He then looked like a humanoid again, but his face was pale. His clothes were tattered, and he was bloody. Clearly he could not get rid of all the blood dragon god spurt blood pulse powers. Upon seeing all this, Gong Shujin was frightened. He knew how strong Hua Nongyu was. Even Hua Nongyu had almost been killed with a punch. He thought there was an 80% to 90% chance that Han Sen was a real god-blood noble. Gong Shujin kept flapping his wings in a bid to fly away. He was like an engine. He wanted to fly away really fast. Although he was fast, it was a shame he was not as fast as Han Sen's blood dragon god spirit blood pulse. Han Sen stomped the ground. His body tore through space. He flew behind Gong Shujin with his purple dragon air rising. He was like a demon god quickly approaching. He threw a punch at Gong Shujin. Pang! A fist struck Gong Shujin in the back. The shadow of a crane appeared on it. The crane's shadow spread its wings to protect Gong Shujin's body. Han Sen's purple dragon air punched the crane. The crane's shadow was broken, but the purple dragon air was stopped. There was a catch noise. The crane necklace on Gong Shujin's chest blew up. Some smoke came out of it. It displayed the face of a white-haired elder. I am Gong Shuji. It does not matter how my son offended you, but I will bear the consequence of his actions. Please stop attacking and let my son go free. That old man's shadow was that of the famous Gong Shuji from the Qin kingdom. Chapter 3086 Finally got a gene egg responsibility? How are you going to accept responsibility? Han Sen coldly looked at Gong Shuji's shadow. I have some savings, Gong Shuji said. If you let my son go, I can give you money or gene eggs. If you want to be a leader of a town, I can help you do that too. It is a shame that money cannot buy life, Han Sen coldly said. If you wanted to murder someone, you should have expected the chance of being murdered too. You cannot buy back your son's life. He should have learned. Purple dragon air was raging on his body. It was similar to a volcano erupting. Gong Shujin thought he had a chance to live. After hearing Han Sen, his expression changed. His body emitted a weird light. He kept flapping his wings, wanting to fly far away. Gong Shuji's light was shouting, if you kill my son, I, Gong Shuji, will not stop hunting you down. Boom. Before Gong Shuji finished talking, a scary purple dragon air, which looked as if it was swallowing the sky and ground, was headed for Gong Shujin. It vaporized Gong Shujin and Gong Shuji's shadow. There was no stopping it. Han Sen's body was like a dragon. He was in the sky, chasing the escaping Hua Nongyu, who looked pale. Although he was very fast, he was not quicker than Han Senator. Seeing the purple air coming closer to him, Hua Nongyu gnashed his teeth and opened his fan. He waved it at Han Senator. Suddenly, there was some crazy wind that was like a typhoon. The wild wind pulled out the rocks and old trees. All of it was tossed at Han Senator. Purple air was everywhere. Han Sen looked invincible. He blew up the stones, old trees, and typhoon. Nothing was able to stop the blood dragon god spurt blood pulse power. Pang! Hua Nongyu's body vanished. He turned into petals. This time, the petals were not able to escape. They melted in the raging purple air. Some leftover petals landed on the fan on the ground. They went inside the fan and disappeared. Han Sen was shocked. He landed atop the mountain and picked up the fan. The fan looked like it was made of black bones and white paper. It resembled a sakura flower tree. Many petals were falling from the old tree. While they were falling, an elegant scribe stood beneath the old tree. It looked like he was admiring it. The scribe had blood seeping out his lips. Can this person go into a drawing? Han Sen was shocked. The scribe in the drawing was obviously Hua Nongyu. If you destroy the fan, you can kill him. He did this to you. How could you let him live? A beautiful woman whispered in Han Sen's ears. It made him want to commit murder. Seeing the scribe in the fan, Han Sen suddenly closed it. He did not destroy it. He turned around but did not see a woman behind him. Big Sky Demon, you are still following me, Han Sen coldly said. Earlier, he felt a strong desire to kill. It was obvious that someone was influencing him. Otherwise, with his personality, he only did things by following his heart. He would not have wanted to commit murder so simply. The body of the Big Sky Demon was holding Han Sen from behind. She used a girly voice to whisper into Han Sen's ear. Ha, ha. You are not dead and I am not dead. How could we be separated? Winter has thunder, and it snows in summer. We are in love with each other. Nothing can ever tear us apart. Han Sen felt the Big Sky Demon use her tongue to lick his ears. When he turned around, he did not see the Big Sky Demon anywhere around him. You can combine with a god pulse, the Big Sky Demon said as her body appeared next to Han Senator. Her voice sounded as flirty as a flower. This is becoming interesting. Your body and heart are something I am taking for myself. Her body was suddenly gone again. It was like some kind of ghost. Han Sen frowned. He had a blood dragon god spirit blood pulse. It gave him the power of a destroyed class god spirit, but he was still unable to find the Big Sky Demon's true self. Can a gene race be that powerful? Han Sen wondered. He thought about Qin Xiu's world king god and figured that explained it. Brother Han, you are a god-blood noble. Bald Guy merrily rushed over. He circled Han's son as if he was admiring an animal in the zoo. Hansen looked at Bald Guy and asked, "Did you see something?" "No, I did not see anything," Bald Guy quickly said. "We never met the Gong Shu family people before." Hansen knew Bald Guy had misunderstood him, but he still managed to receive the answer he wanted. It seemed as if Bald Guy had not seen the big sky demon. So the big sky demon hadn't actually appeared next to him. The demon had only used some tricks to talk to him. Hansen put away the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse power and thought, "Where is the big sky demon's true body?" "Brother Han, ignore that for now," Bald Guy said. "The blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene has been broken. You can go get that gene egg down there safely now. You have a break while I go excavate it." He then jumped back into the hole. Hansen allowed him to dig it up while he investigated the fan he was holding. The fan sticks were black. They looked as if they were made of something that was like bone. The surface was white like snow. It was soft and shockingly bouncy. It was unknown what sort of texture it was. Hansen knew for sure that the scribe inside the fan was Huanongyu. No matter what he tried, he could not activate the fan. He did not understand how it worked. "I found it. I found the gene egg." Bald Guy sounded very happy inside the hole. Hansen walked toward the hole and saw Bald Guy holding a gene egg that looked to be the same size as a football. He happily jumped up. The gene egg was big and round. It glowed with a purple light. It was like some god light was glowing on it. Some strange symbols were lit up across the shell's surface, making it appear quite mysterious. I have never seen a gene egg like this. Although I cannot tell which level it is, there was a blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. Therefore, it has to indicate it is something good. Bald Guy happily gave Hansen the gene egg. "You have saved me twice now. This gene egg cannot pay back the kindness you have shown me, so I will make it my duty to keep paying you back." Hansen did not want a relationship with people, so he coldly said, "This time it was my fault. It is okay. We do not owe each other anything now." "I still owe you," Bald Guy protested. "I pay everybody I owe stuff to." "That is up to you, but I have things I must do now. They have to be done privately, so I request that you stop following me." Hansen really didn't want to get involved with him. He had also just killed Gong Shu Jin. He knew Gong Shu, she was not going to take that lying down. He was going to want others to pay with their blood. "Fine. Go do your thing. I will look for you later." Bald Guy was quite quick this time. He turned around and left. Hansen was a little bit surprised that the man was so fast this time. He watched Bald Guy leave. He then looked at the gene egg in his hands. Chapter 3087 Exclusive Gene Race. The purple gene egg was godly. With the way it glowed, it looked like something abnormal. Hansen was just holding the gene egg, but the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse was already reacting to it. It was wandering around it. That is not normal. This is a gene egg that was born from a blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. It would be normal for it to be affected by a blood dragon god spirit blood pulse. Hansen's heart jumped. Blood dragon god spirit blood pulse air started to spill. It flowed into the gene egg. This time, Hansen did not have to draw his own blood for the gene egg to hatch. Surrounded by a shiny, glowing purple light, the gene egg's shell started to melt. It quickly disappeared. It revealed the gene race inside the gene egg. It was a small snake with purple scales. It was the size of a chopstick. It was that small. The scales of its body were extremely beautiful. It was like they were formed with purple crystals. The eyes of the creature were like purple gems. They glistened with purple light. The blood dragon god spirit blood pulse was bursting. The small snake was sucked into the sea of soul. Got mutant god class gene race blood dragon. Blood dragon. Mutant god class gene race. Juvenile blood god dragon exclusive gene race. Hansen was shocked. He was wondering, what is an exclusive gene race? He summoned the blood god dragon and tried it a few times. Hansen finally knew what an exclusive gene race meant. He also better understood the god spirit blood pulse. When Hansen used the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse and another gene race, It did not make much difference when compared to him using a gene race normally. His gene combined skill was not any stronger. If it was used under the Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse mode, and he used the Blood God Dragon, it made the Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse increase. From what Han Sen understood, the God Spirit Blood Pulse provided the most basic powers. As to how he could use the God Spirit Blood Pulse power, it required a gene race to finish. When Han Sen used the Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse, it only increased power. If it combined with a Blood God Dragon, it turned that power into Blood God Dragon gene combined skills. It made the gene combined skill limitlessly increase in power. A newborn Blood God Dragon did not have much power when used with a gene combined skill. When it had the Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse buff, the gene combined skill power was better than an adult Blood God Dragon. Of course, to receive that buff, the Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse exclusive gene race was required. Non-exclusive gene races did not receive the advantages. The Blood God Dragon's gene combined skill was a Blood Dragon flying into the sky weird scene. It was a very overbearing attack skill. When it had the God Spirit Blood Pulse buff, it was really overbearing even if it was still a juvenile. If the Blood God Dragon reached its ultimate body, at that time, the power would be unimaginable. I got the Blood God Dragon and Blood Dragon God Spirit Blood Pulse. That is very good, but I did make an enemy out of Gong Shuji. That guy is a masterclass mister. His subordinates will be powerful, and he will have lots of scary gene eggs. I am not afraid of him, but Mr. Yang and the others will have to be. I have to go get a pure light salamander soon. Han Sen stopped hesitating. He followed the stream, going as fast as he could to reach Autumn Leaves River. Han Sen was in a hurry to get there. On his way, he was not in the mood to hunt other gene eggs. He was going as fast as he could to reach Autumn Leaves River. He was hiding near the shore, looking for a pure light salamander. Autumn Leaves River was just a branching river, but it was still 1,000 miles long. He did not know where the pure light salamanders were. When Han Sen arrived at the river, he looked into the water of the river, and realized his reflection had become the big sky demon again. She smiled at him. Han Sen could not figure out a way to deal with her. He pretended he did not see anything. Do you want to find a pure light salamander? I can help you, my little lover. This time, the big sky demon was worse. She turned into his shadow and spoke to him. Okay, how can you help? Han Sen smiled as if he was talking to a friend. The big sky demon was shocked. She smiled harder. Follow the river. When you see a white jade cliff, you will see the pure light salamander. After that, the big sky demon's reflection was gone. Han Sen's reflection was ordinary again. Han Sen could not find it, so he just did what the big sky demon told him. He followed the river. When it was nighttime, he saw the river had a canyon. The two sides were composed of white jade-like stone that emitted a crystal, holy light. It looked very weird. Han Sen carefully snuck to one side of the wall. He looked into the water. He saw 3 1-foot-long creatures that looked like Chinese giant salamanders. The pure light salamanders, however, were cuter. They were playing around in the water. The holy light salamanders looked like white jade. Their eyes looked like black gems and were very cute. Han Sen hid inside the mountain for a while. He saw the 3 pure light salamanders swimming around. Their bodies were releasing a holy light. Their skin was like transparent jade. I am so sorry. Han Sen's body was like a hawk as he jumped up. He sprinted toward the water while casting the Xian Yellow Sutra. He suddenly broke the river water and attacked the 3 pure light salamanders. Han Sen did not use a gene race. The 3 pure light salamanders were unable to sense him beforehand. By the time they realized danger was near, it was already too late. One punch took out a salamander. One by one, Han Sen turned them into agate-like eggs. In Gong Shu manner, Gong Shuji's eyes were red. His old tears continued to pour. Gong Shuji was very famous. He had many wives, but Gong Shujin was his only son. Now his son had been murdered. How could he not be sad and angry? Master, I found out the man is called Han Senator. He did not have any relations with Mr. Jin, but Mr. Jin was courting the singer Feng Fei Fei. He encountered this person in Night Cry Valley. A person who looked like an old servant was reporting to Gong Shuji. No matter what my son did wrong, he should not have killed him. I will avenge my son's death. Gong Shuji looked frozen, but his eyes glimmered with evilness. Mr. Jin only investigated Han Sun once, but he managed to find out he was from a town called Ancient God City, the old servant said. I think the investigation must have come to an incorrect conclusion. Should I start over? Gong Shuji shook his head. There is no need to. It does not matter where he is from. This place is Big Qin capital. I just need to know he is not some high-level person from the capital. No matter who he is, he will pay the price of blood for what he did to my son. Speaking of that, Gong Shuji looked murderous. He coldly asked, as for Feng Fei Fei, did my son not like her? Let her be with my son in case he gets lonely down there. The old servant worriedly said, Master, that is not a good thing. Feng Fei Fei is one of the 3 most popular singers. She is like the singer queen. She has many powerful people supporting her. Even the real big nobles admire her. I am afraid. I have my ways and they will all have to die with my son. Gong Shuji's eyes looked very angry. Chapter 3088 Beautiful woman coming the Holy Light River was very dangerous. There were a few places not even Han Sun dared to go. He was not afraid of dying. He was just afraid of being trapped and not being able to get out. Fortunately, he received guidance from Feather Fairy. He knew a lot about the region. Through the advice he had been given, Han Sun was able to avoid many of the pitfalls and perils. He was able to find the pure light salamanders he sought and safely make it back to the teleporter. On his way back, he also managed to obtain another dozen Viscount class and Earl class gene eggs. He planned to use them to keep the shop running. After returning to the hotel, he was relieved to find Mr. Yang, and the others were still safe. Everyone gather around. I have something to tell you all. Han Sun summoned them all, and explained to them that he had murdered Gong Shujin on planet Guya. By doing that, he told them he had offended Gong Shuji. He did not go into the specifics. Mr. Yang and the others had their mouths wide open, but they were unable to say anything. Mr. The Gong Shuji you are talking about. Is it the Gong Shuji that is a very famous mister in the Qin kingdom? Master Yang asked. He had a hard time believing this tale was true. Yes, it is him, Han Sun said. So, what comes next might be perilous. He could very well come at us seeking vengeance. That means you, my friends, will be caught up in all this. Following me is too dangerous. If you people have someplace else to go, take money from the shop and leave. Start a life elsewhere, free from the strife that comes with me. Mr. Yang immediately said, I have already chosen to follow you. I am not going to run just because I am afraid of danger. Besides, this is the capital of the Qin kingdom. Not even Gong Shuji can do something too obvious. Li Bingyu coldly thought. Why would Han Sun suddenly kill Gong Shujin? Is there some ulterior motive to all this? Did Crown Prince Bai Qin request him to do this? Is it something else entirely? When she saw Han Sun looking at her, she immediately looked cold and said, I still owe you. I am not going to leave your side. It is good that Gong Shuji is coming after you. It will give me the chance to protect and pay you back. Jianbugu merely smiled. He did not plan on leaving either. Jianshi clutched you, not willing to leave. If you guys are stalwart and unwilling to leave, and something dangerous happens and that results in death, don't take it out on me. After pausing, Han Sun said to Mr. Yang, Old Yang, you go and prepare. Rest up tonight. Tomorrow, you are coming to planet Guya with me. You need to help me locate a land pulse. Han Sun was planning to take Mr. Yang with him to see Feather Fairy, and get the God Spirit blood pulse for him. That way he could use gene eggs. Right now, the situation is very dangerous, Li Bingyu said. There will be a danger on the road. Shouldn't I be accompanying you guys? Han Sun casually replied. There is no need. You stay here and take care of Mr. Jian and you. He took out a gene egg and handed it to Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang accepted the gene egg. He felt strange. He had heard planet Guya had many land pulses, but Han Sun was only out there for 2 days and had received many gene eggs. That was a bit too shocking. Han Sun returned to his room and rested. Everyone did their own things. Li Bingyu returned to her room. She had been thinking about this whole thing. Her thoughts were too complicated. She thought this could be a grand, political conspiracy. Otherwise, no one would have gone and murdered a son who was so famous. She thought about it for a long time, but she could not come up with a solid lead. She went to the bathroom and took a hot shower. She wrapped a towel around her and came out. She went before the mirror, ready to tidy up in front of it. When she saw the mirror in front of her, she was shocked. In the mirror, her face was very beautiful and white. She had a small waist and a big bum. Her face structure was very defined. She was like the ultimate pretty woman. It made her think she was really pretty. Oh no! Li Bingyu realized something, but it was too late. She was unable to avert her gaze from the mirror. Her eyes looked very loving. It looked as if she was in love. Li Bingyu's will was quite strong. If Han Sen had been unable to fight something like that, there was no way she could resist. Not long later, she sank into falling in love with her reflection. That reflection had not changed at all. In Li Bingyu's eyes, the reflection in the mirror was slowly changing. It turned into the image of Senator Han Sen was lying on the bed, thinking about how to deal with whatever method of revenge Gong Shuji would try. He wasn't just going to sit and wait for Gong Shuji to attack. If Gong Shuji was going to treat him like an enemy, he knew it would be best for him to strike first. While he was thinking, he suddenly heard the door be pushed open. He frowned. Mr. Yang and the others would not have just pushed the door like that. If it was someone sent by Gong Shuji, they would not enter so obviously either. Hansen was confused. He looked toward the door and was shocked. He saw a pretty woman with only a white towel around her. Her boobs were very white and full. He could even see her butt crack. Her long, white legs made him dizzy. She had long, half-wet hair that looked like a waterfall. Her eyes were dripping with lust. It made Han-sun freeze in his place. Ghost Kill, what is it? Han-sun was frozen. He recognized her as Ghost Kill. She always wore the night ghost mask and was always cold. Now, however, she was behaving differently. If Han-sun was not an alert man, he would have thought of her as a completely different person and not Ghost Kill. Li Bingyu did not speak. She closed the door and locked it behind her. She then behaved like a wild, hungry cat as she approached the bed. She crawled up and placed her hands on Han-sen's shoulder. Her eyes, which looked so in love, were only 3 inches away from Han Senator with her tongue. She licked his cheeks. Are you insane? Han-sun pushed Li Bingyu's shoulders to stop her from getting any closer. Although there were some nice things to see, Han-sun felt as if something was wrong. This was obviously not Ghost Kill. Li Bingyu was not stopping. She felt as if the man in front of her was the one she would love forever. She wanted to give him everything and take everything of his. Her whole body was lying on top of Han Senator. There was a gasp that made people jump. As Han-sun frowned, he suddenly heard the big sky demon's voice. Do you like this woman? If you are willing, I can make all the pretty women come into your arms. I can have them all fall in love with you like mad. They will do anything for you. They will give you their lives. The shadow of the big sky demon was right next to Han Senator. Her lips nibbled Han Sen's ears. As she spoke, it was like there was some perfume being sprayed onto Han Sen's ears that made him itch. Of course I like pretty women, but I do not like dolls that are being controlled, Han Sen coldly said. His eyes looked still. They were like arrows, piercing into Li Bingyu's luxurious eyes. Li Bingyu felt a chill. She woke up from the love spell. Her entire body was lying on Han Sen like a wild cat. Her arms were still around his neck. They stared at each other in that position. Chapter 3089 Going to the mountain. And asking a god for help. Li Bingyu's face turned red. She looked as if she had been electrified as she leaped off Han Senator. She grabbed the white towel, covered her body, and ran out of Han Sen's room. Big Sky Demon's power was too strong. It was an irresistible power. Li Bingyu was able to see what was happening, but there was nothing she could do to stop it. It was not done by her own will, but she could not resist the temptation of the demon. Li Bingyu knew it had to be the power of some gene race, but she did not know it was the Big Sky Demon. She thought about that as possibly being Gong Shuji's revenge. Damn that Gong Shuji! If you want to exact revenge, go after him yourself. How dare he use that gene race on me? Li Bingyu was back in her room. She looked terrible. After being forced to watch the things she did to Han Sen, she wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. After Li Bingyu departed, Han Sen examined his room. He did not see the big sky demon anymore. The demon was able to just come and go. Not even Han Sen could detect if she had really been present. I need to find a way to get rid of her. I can't just have someone keep following me. It is starting to get annoying. Han Sen frowned because he could not think of a way to achieve that. He took out a pure light salamander egg and placed it in his hand. He tried to use the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse power to activate it and see if he could turn it into a blood god dragon exclusive gene race. Han Sen was disappointed by the results. Perhaps it was because there was some elemental conflict, but the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse did not connect with the pure light salamander. The power could not enter the pure light salamander. There was no way, so Han Sen had to drop his blood onto the pure light salamander's egg. The pure light salamander soon hatched. The pure light salamander that hatched was a big, jade white tadpole. Its body and claws were small. Its body was half transparent. It looked as if it was a carving on some old jade. It looked very tiny and cute. Got King Class Gene Race Pure Light Salamander. The announcement played. Han Sen tried to combine with the Pure Light Salamander. It was still a juvenile, so the Pure Light Salamander's power was bound to be weak. Han Sen felt a purified power melt inside him. His head quickly grew a white jade horn. If a gene race entered the proximity, the jade horn emitted a response. According to the gene race element, the horn changed color to reflect what it was. Although the horn was not ugly, it looked sort of ridiculous. Han Sen had no desire to accept it. He immediately disconnected from the pure light salamander and allowed the pure light salamander to maintain its shape. He put it in his pocket. Although they had not combined, the pure light salamander still detected gene races. Han Sen tried to summon the blood ghost spirit. Upon that happening, the horn of the pure light salamander turned red. Because it was a baby, the pure light salamander was unable to detect the presence of gene races at a long distance. At best, it only sensed if there was a gene race within 30 feet. For Han Sen, that was enough. This was the Qin Kingdom's capital. They were not in the wild. He only needed it to halt any potential assassination attempts. I wonder if the pure light salamander can detect the big sky demon. Han Sen checked out the pure light salamander, but he did not notice a reaction. Perhaps the big sky demon was not nearby, or the salamander could simply not detect the big sky demon. With the pure light salamander around, things will be much safer. I need to help Mr. Yang get a god spirit blood pulse first. Han Sen decided to take Mr. Yang to Feather Fairy's god temple. In Gongshu Manor, an old servant stopped in front of Gongshu Ji. Master, the hotel said they were unable to find a shred of skin or hair of Han Sen. The old man worriedly said. How were they not able to? Did they not perform their tasks properly? Gongshu Ji's face looked troubled. The servant said. It is not because they did not do it right. I disguised myself as a cleaner when entering Han Sen's room, but I was unable to find hide nor hair from him. There was not even a speck of dandruff. I think he is well prepared. If things are really like that, then he must be an elite. Gongshu Ji frowned and asked, what is going on with Yer? Yer is Feng Fei Fei's best friend, the old servant said. During the past few days, she used the excuse of celebrating Feng Fei Fei's birthday to stay at her house. It should not be difficult finding Feng Fei Fei's hair. It should be here soon. I see. In that case, let's allow Feng Fei, that little bitch, to join my son. Gongshu Ji looked cold. Master, if we cannot get Han Sen's skin or hair, the Si Ming demon race cannot be used, the old servant worriedly said. How would we deal with Han Sen then? Gongshu Ji coldly laughed. Old Mister has traveled the universe for 100 years. I have dug up so many god pulses that shook the sky. I have more than one powerful gene race. I have more than just the Si Ming demon race. It will not be hard for me to kill someone. Get rid of that Feng Fei, that little bitch, and then deal with him. The next morning, Han Sen took Mr. Yang with him to planet Guya. After only walking for a little while, Mr. Yang pointed at a mountain and said, Mister, There is a formation like a tiger cave ahead of us. There should be a land pulse there. It is no wonder this is the capital. There are a lot more land pulses than there are in ancient God Mountain. Hansen shook his head and smiled. This time, I did not come for a land pulse. Mr. Yang was shocked. You did not come here for a land pulse? Is there something we need to talk about? Is that why you brought me here? Hansen casually said. It is nothing big. I found a god temple in the mountains that does not have a leader, and there are god spirits. So I am taking you there to see if I can get you a god spirit blood pulse. Mr. Yang presented a wry smile. Thank you, mister. For the past few decades, I have been to many god temples, but I have been unable to get a god spirit blood pulse. An elite checked me out, but my body's genes are just too bad. I cannot get a god spirit's blessing. I have already given up. There was no need for you to put effort into me. Since we are here, we might as well still check it out. Hansen smiled. Seeing Hansen like this, Mr. Yang did not say anything. He still had no hope for this trip. When he was young, he was like that. He had visited many god temples. If it was not 100, then it was 80. In the end, he was hopeless. No god spirit imparted their blood to him. Hansen used the secret path Feather Fairy had told him about. He went to Holy Light Mountain. No danger was encountered on their way. They met a few gene races, but Hansen only had to use the blood ghost spirit to scare them away. Quickly, the two of them were in front of a mountain, which was shrouded in holy light. The mountain was glowing. It was like where the sun rose. It looked very sunny and bright. Chapter 3090 Giving Blood Pulse Feather Fairy had said that there were scare gene races close to Holy Light Mountain. So Hansen was worried. He did not want any more trouble just yet. With Mr. Yang in tow, he sneakily climbed the mountain. Ever since he had encountered the big sky demon, Hansen knew this world was a weird place. He was unable to get through everything alone. He needed to keep a low profile and try not to draw too much attention to himself. Mister, is this the legendary Holy Light River's Holy Light Mountain? Mr. Yang was shocked. He looked up across the mysterious mountain with trembling legs. I think it is just its name. Hansen did not care. He continued hiking up the slopes of the mountain with Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang's heart was truly rattled. Mister, I have heard that Holy Light Mountain is home to a scary, ultimate gene race. It has loads of mysterious things about it. Even if top-class elites visit that area, they are sure to die. It's fine. I know a secret path that can safely lead us to the God Temple. Hansen walked as he talked. A mysterious mist was draped over the mountain. One was not able to see anything. At about 15 feet away, all visibility was lost to the mist. It was still frightening to keep hearing beasts roar and thunder echo. Mr. Yang was in shock. He followed Hansen, not daring to take one step away. The scene was very scary, but as Feather Fairy had said, they did not have a personal encounter with any of the dangers during their climb. Mr. Yang's body was old. He had not climbed for long before he was gasping. His forehead was like a rain cloud. He was profusely sweating. He could not climb for much longer. Hansen had to hold his body and hike. It was unknown how high the mountain was. Even with Hansen's speed, it took half a day to arrive at the peak. It was different from the land below. The peak was very warm and gentle. It was like a cloud and clearly visible. There was no wind, thunder, or dust to mar the area. It was a peaceful place. Atop the peak, there was an old temple. It was made of green bricks and slate. It looked mysterious and old. It seemed like there would be no fire inside it. Mister, there is a god temple there. Seeing the god temple, Mr. Yang felt safer. Hansen raised his head to look upon the grandeur of the temple's door. The words Feather Fairy God Temple were on it. The words looked like they had dust and belonged to a fairy. Go in. After you get a god spirit blood pulse, we can return. After speaking, Hansen went into the god temple. Mr. Yang did not dare slow down. He ran toward the god temple and said, Mister, I am going to beg now. I am afraid I am too useless. I do not want to waste your nice gesture. After that, Mr. Yang walked into the god temple. He went in front of the god's altar. According to the gestures required, He hastily kneeled and prayed. He then dropped a speck of his blood onto the stove. He knew the outcome. He didn't think he'd get a god spirit blood pulse. He just wanted to get it over with and return home. He did not want to waste any more of Hansen's time. The blood entered the stove, but there was no reaction. He knew that would happen, but he was still disappointed. Hansen stood in front of the god temple. Mr. Yang stood up and presented him with a wry smile. "Mister, it looks like I wasted your nice intent of bringing me here." Hansen frowned. He was there, but Feather Fairy wasn't treating him nicely. He felt a bit angry about that. "It is fine. You stand here." Hansen just wanted Mr. Yang to get a god spirit blood pulse. It was best he did not have to do anything, but he now had to walk up to the god altar. Pat! Hansen slammed the god's altar. The stone on the altar was delivered the mark of a hand. The entire temple shook violently. Mr. Yang was scared. He waved his hands and yelled, "Don't do that, mister. Don't do that." People in the universe of kingdoms were taught that god spirits were superior to everyone and had created the universe. Being alive meant the god spirits enabled a human to exist and live. They had the highest authority. The god temples were signatures of each god's power. At all costs, they were not to be offended. If they were, the god spirits would surely dole out punishment. This dogma existed due to the ability of god spirits to bless the blood of others. Most importantly, it resided in the education of the kingdom. Mr. Yang could not be blamed for feeling the way he did. That was how he had grown up and taught to be. Seeing Hansen slap the altar, Mr. Yang thought it was a grand blasphemy. Even the Qin Kingdom's king would have never dared do such a thing. Hansen ignored Mr. Yang and coldly shouted, "Where is Feather Fairy?" After hearing what was said, Mr. Yang was shocked. Hansen had slapped the altar and shouted the god spirit's name out loud. He must have had a death wish. In the next second, Mr. Yang's face turned pale. He saw Feather Fairy's god statue start to glow with holy light. It was scary. An old fairy-like man appeared and floated down from the altar. "Oh no. Oh no. A god spirit has revealed itself. This is bad. We have to go, mister." Mr. Yang ran to Hansen and tugged at him. Since Mr. Yang was old and had no gene race buff, he was too slow. He had only just touched Hansen's arm when the old fairy god spirit floated down before them. Mr. Yang's face looked gray. He thought, "This is bad. We are going to die." Surprisingly, the god spirit bowed to him. He behaved politely to Hansen and said, "Little god did not know you were here. I did not come out to greet you, so please forgive me." Mr. Yang's entire body appeared petrified. His eyes were open wide. He looked at Feather Fairy and Hansen in awe. His brain was empty of thoughts. He could not compose one. Hansen pointed at Mr. Yang and said, "This guy is my servant. I brought him here to accept a god spirit blood pulse. Can you give him something?" Feather Fairy looked at Mr. Yang. He then looked at Hansen and carefully asked, "Mister, what kind of blood pulse would be suitable?" Feather Fairy felt depressed. He controlled a god spirit blood pulse, but it cost him god power to give it out. If he gave his blood pulse to someone weak, he would not achieve much. There was nothing for him to gain. Mr. Yang, who was standing in front of him, was the sort of person with very bad genes. Under ordinary circumstances, he would never have even dreamed of giving someone like him a blood pulse. But Hansen was asking him directly, so Feather Fairy could not reject the request. Even though that person was too weak, he still had to give out his god spirit blood pulse. Just give him something. Hansen looked like he was smiling, but not smiling at Feather Fairy. Feather Fairy gnashed his teeth and thought, "This time, I am to lose something no matter what." Instead of fighting back and allowing Mr. Dollar to be upset with me, why don't I do him a favor? Thinking of this, Feather Fairy lit up the god stove. The god stove's holy light was like a volcanic eruption. Many snow-white feathers arose. They covered the entire god temple. It was like a million goose feathers were falling from the sky. Suddenly, thousands of feathers started flying toward Mr. Yang. They melted into his body. It made Mr. Yang's body feel as if it was in heaven. It was like a dream. Perfect god spirit blood pulse. Mr. Yang was suspicious about whether or not this was all just a dream. Actually, it was like he had never even dreamed of this. He now had a God Spirit blood pulse, and it was a complete God Spirit blood pulse. Not many people earned a perfect God Spirit blood pulse. Chapter 3091 Birthday Party. Mr. Yang felt as if he was dreaming. He could not believe what was happening to him atop that holy light mountain. The superior, well-respected God Spirit had listened to Han Sen's commands. He even referred to him as a Mr. Han Sen just casually told him to do something, and the God Spirit provided him with a perfect God Spirit blood pulse. It made Mr. Yang admire Han Sen even more. What is he really like? He was born inside a gene egg, but even God Spirits admire him. Can someone actually be as great as him? Mr. Yang's heart was trembling. Based on what he knew of the world, he could not imagine where Han Sen might have come from. There was one thing Mr. Yang knew for sure. Han Sen was more powerful than the Godblood nobles. The Godblood nobles were able to be with gods, but that was because they were approved by the God Spirits and allowed to use their power. That relationship made it so they considered each other as equals. He had never heard of a God Spirit being afraid of a Godblood noble. It was unimaginable. Mister, I am at this old age, yet now I have received a God Spirit blood pulse. The greatest wish of my life has been fulfilled. There is nothing else I desire in this world. My life belongs to you in its entirety. Mr. Yang bowed. He meant every word he said. Although Mr. Yang was very talented when it came to land pulse skills, and he was a hard worker, he did not have a God Spirit blood pulse before this. Thus, he was never able to become a real mister. It resulted in people often being mean to him. He thought there was no more hope for him. Now he had suddenly received a God Spirit blood pulse, and it was a perfect blood pulse. One was easily able to imagine how grateful he was. Han Sen smiled, but he did not say anything. Some things could only be done and not be spoken of. How Mr. Yang performed still depended on his power. It did not matter how many things he said. Here is a gene egg for you. You should hatch it. Carry it around with you. It is sure to prove very valuable to you. Han Sen put the pure light salamander gene egg in Mr. Yang's hand. Mr. Yang had a good amount of knowledge. Although he had never seen a pure light salamander egg in real life, he had seen it online. Now that he was seeing it for real, he was truly shocked. He could not believe it, so he had to ask Han Sen, Mister, is this a pure light salamander egg? I got lucky, Han Sen casually said. I managed to get a few not too long ago. A few? Mr. Yang was speechless. The pure light salamander was a king-class gene egg that was very rare. One of them could be sold for a very high price, and Han Sen had randomly managed to collect a few. He thought it was unbelievable. Right. With your identity, even God Spirits are polite to you. Getting a few pure light salamander gene eggs probably wasn't difficult to someone like you. Mr. Yang did not believe he had been this lucky. Jianbugu had only mentioned the pure light salamanders a few days ago. Now Han Sen had managed to get a few. Even a true god descending from the sky would not have such luck. Han Sen summoned the Holy One White Deer. He took Mr. Yang back to the teleport station. Although Jianbugu was at the hotel, Jianbugu had made a promise. He was not going to fight, even if his pacifism resulted in his death. Therefore, Han Sen was worried something might have happened. Fortunately, nothing happened in the hotel during his absence. There was, however, a bald guy waiting in the living room. He was talking at an obnoxious volume. Bald guy, why are you here? Han Sen frowned. He had never told Bald Guy where he lived. Bald Guy laughed. Brother Han, this is the capital. If I wanted to find you, there is no way you could actually hide. Why have you come looking for me? Han Sen did not want a connection with other people. To him, he was a foreigner of that world. He was different from Qin Xiu, who wanted to break the rules and bring Qin Wan'er back to life. Han Sen had no such desire. He just wanted to go back to where he came from and do that alone. Therefore, there was no point in investing in something that didn't mean much to him. He didn't need to connect with various people. Of course, and that is a good thing, Bald Guy said. He took out a sheet of paper. The way he waved it in front of Han Sen was like he was showing off. Do you know what this is? No, I don't. Hansen shook his head. Have a guess. Bald guy looked excited. I am not guessing. If there is nothing important about your visit, you can leave. I am tired and require rest. Hansen really wanted to get rid of him. Whatever. Let me tell you. Bald guy pretended not to hear anything. With a cocky look, he waved the paper and said, "This is an invitation. It is an invitation to Feng Feifei's birthday party. You know Feng Feifei? She is one of the 3 most popular singers. She is very talented. She will be the queen singer one day. She is quite beautiful. One smile is enough to drive men wild. Even the superior people of the Qin kingdom aren't getting many invitations." After saying that, Bald guy went next to Han Sen's ear and whispered, "I am a good friend of Feng Feifei. Therefore, I was able to receive this invitation. You are my brother, so I am taking you to meet this pretty woman." "I am not interested." Han Sen rejected him quickly. He had seen many pretty women in his life. To be fair, no human could be as pretty as Gu Qincheng. Feng Feifei was pretty, but she was not pretty enough to shock Han Senator Plus. He had seen Feng Feifei before, and she was nothing special. "No way," Bald guy said. "How are you not interested in Feng Feifei? Are you?" He stared at Han Sen with a look of confusion. Han Sen's forehead developed black lines. "What are you thinking? I just don't want to waste my time on a woman." "What woman?" "Feng Feifei is a woman that populates every man's dreams. Everyone knows that." Bald guy laughed and went on to say, "Plus, this time, many powerful people are going to be there. I have heard many godblood nobles will be going too. Even if you are not interested in meeting Feng Feifei, you should go and meet these people." Hansen thought Bald guy was right. He did not know much about the Qin kingdom's elites, and he did not know anything about godblood nobles. It was probably best that he met them. Bald guy sensed that Han Sen was relenting, so he immediately tried harder to convince him. He finally convinced Han Sen to attend Feng Feifei's birthday party. While they were at the birthday party, Han Sen learned that the whole story about being a close friend was utter nonsense. They were in a big castle, and there were 1,000 guests. Bald guy was merely one of them, and he was only there to eat and drink. He did not get to see Feng Feifei personally. Fortunately, Han Sen was not there for Feng Feifei. He ate with Bald guy, who introduced him to the people around. Chapter 3092 Singing. "Do you see that guy who is acting all cocky?" Bald guy asked as he looked in the man's direction. "That is one of the 4 big misters in Jade Wall City. He is Mr. Godwon." Hansen looked over and saw a guy who was very handsome and elegant. He was like a sun surrounded by planets and girls. Seeing his attitude, one assumed he was very polite. He caught the attention of many people. There was no doubt he was frequently the center of attention. It was clear that he was not an ordinary person. "Mr. Godwon? Why is that name so weird?" Hansen asked with confusion. Godwon is his title. His real name is Gong Zhenjun. He has been quite famous since he was a child. He has always exceeded in all of his endeavors, and he has never been anything but first place. That is why his name is Godwon. With a look of disdain, Bald guy said, "Godwon thinks he is quite handsome. In reality, he is just a pussy. Only the women who don't know much about him ever take him seriously." "In that case, I am sorry." Han Sen and Bald guy were whispering when someone sat down next to them. It was Mr. Godwon. It was unknown when he had arrived next to them. "I think this must be Mr. Han Sr." Mr. Godwon waved at Han Sr. "How do you know my identity?" Hansen was confused. Mr. Godwon mysteriously laughed. "Jade Wall City's inner circle is very small. It is hard to hide something as big as you. The true demon Mr. Gong Shujin was murdered. It is nearly impossible to not know that. It is quite the headline. I can only suppose it was your handiwork." "Mr. Godwon, what are you implying?" Hansen coldly asked. His expression did not change. Mr. Godwon laughed. "Mr. Han, do not misunderstand my intent. I mean you no harm. Although it is merely just a rumor, the Gong Shu family has not revealed how Gong Shujin died. Besides, I see the fan that you are holding. I have seen Huanongyu before. Now Huanongyu is missing too. That is why I made a funny implication. Bald Guy's expression changed, but Hansen kept his cool. He looked at Mr. Godwon and replied, "So what? Are you going to try and avenge Gong Shujin?" Mr. Godwon shook his head. "Mr. Han, you misunderstand me. Although Gong Shujin was one of the 4 misters like me, I had little connection to him. I do not care whether he is alive or dead. I merely approached you to confirm my guess. I also wanted to get to know the elite who was capable of killing Gong Shujin. One of the 4 misters wants to meet me," Han Sun lackadaisically said. "Wow, I am so flattered." Mr. Godwon sighed. "What 4 misters? Perhaps commoners think that title is cool, but to real nobles, the name Mr. is just like a singer. It is for people's entertainment and that's it. The pleasure is all mine to be able to meet Mr. Han. It is merely a shame we met so late. This is not the place to talk. We should talk some other time." Mr. Godwon bowed and hastily left. Why is that guy so baffling? Bald Guy was confused. He did not know why Mr. Godwon had come over and said something so confusing, and then just left. Hansen wanted to say something, but the focus of his attention turned to Feng Fei. She had just arrived. She looked vastly different from how she did when Hansen had seen her in Night Cry Valley. Feng Fei now looked very radiant. She looked as if she had a holy light surrounding her. Her black hair was wavy, and it shone with a holy light. If one looked into her holy eyes, it made them feel shy. It was like it was blasphemous to merely lay one's eyes on her. People with a weak will would have done all they could to avoid her gaze. Feng Fei was surrounded by many nobles. She was like a sun with planets orbiting around her. Although she was a born noble, it did not mask how impressive she was. She was a truly outstanding character. Bald Guy looked at her with drool almost dripping out of his mouth. He said he was Feng Fei's very good friend, but he could not even get close to her. There was no chance of him getting close to Feng Fei. Bald Guy excitedly said, "It is starting. It is finally starting." "What is starting?" Han Sun asked with confusion. At her birthday party every year, Feng Fei performs a song to thank her guests for coming. Bald Guy looked at Feng Fei, who was on the stage, with extreme excitement. His eyes nearly shifted into the shape of a heart. Hansen asked, "Can't you see Feng Fei's songs and videos on the internet? What is so surprising?" Bald Head disagreed and replied, "How can that be the same? There is a big difference between live and video performance. This time it is live. If she combined her God-class gene race, Sonic Phoenix, you would not be able to hear it on the internet." After saying that, Bald Guy stopped. The entire party had become silent. Everything went dark. Suddenly, a woman's voice took the stage. The voice sounded like a fairy from heaven. Upon hearing it, one's heart was captured. It made people helplessly lose themselves in the acoustics of her vocal cords. After a while, a light shone on the stage. As it slowly came into focus, it was in the shape of Feng Fei. She looked like a real fairy. Her entire body seemed to glow with holy light. Her red lips opened. Her voice blared through the arena. It went into people's hearts. They helplessly followed the beat, which kept changing up and down. When the song reached the middle, the place was so quiet that not even the chirp of a bird was heard. Everyone was entranced. They looked at the fairy-like Feng Fei with tears welling up in their eyes. Some of the sensitive women were bawling their eyes out. Is singing a song like this necessary on her birthday? Han Sun was speechless. Feng Fei's voice was not bad. If she did not have a sonic gene race, she would not have been so effective. He could only say that she was talented when it came to music, and used a gene race very well. That didn't matter to him. Hansen did not understand music much. He only knew how to play a few songs on an ocarina, and he did not play them well. The effects of a gene race did not work on him either. That was why Hansen thought Feng Fei was not bad. He was not touched by her music. At the party, even the real nobles opened their hearts to her singing. They could have blocked the sonic power, but no one stopped its penetration. They allowed themselves to sink inside it. Everyone looked mesmerized. Hansen glanced everywhere. He stood out like a sore thumb. Plus, Feng Fei knew him. When she looked over the crowd, she saw him. Why is that guy there? Feng Feifei was shocked. He was also not listening to her song. He was looking around, which annoyed her. Chapter 3093 Sonic Attack. Feng Feifei was not going to let something so insignificant annoy her. But she still wanted to test Han Sen's mind. She put a drop of mysterious power into her singing. It was the phoenix voice from the Holy Phoenix. The grudge between Han Sen and Gong Shujin was something no one knew more about than Feng Feifei. Now Gong Shujin had died. Although it was only a speculated rumor, Feng Feifei was suspicious about Han Sen's involvement. She supposed it had something to do with Han Sen, but she did not want to believe it. Seeing Han Sen there, she decided she might as well use her voice to test his fortitude. She wanted to know if Han Sen was telling the truth, and if he had the power to murder Gong Shujin. Feng Feifei was very good with voice and sonic powers. She controlled them well. It was no wonder she was one of the 3 top singers of the Qin Kingdom. She put the phoenix sound power into her voice. As she did so, people believed she was starting to sound better than ever. Han Sen felt as if there was some scary sonic power suppressing him. It was like thunder exploding in his ear. It was like the sound of booming thunder that existed between the sky and the ground. Han Sen frowned. He looked around. Everyone was still enthusiastically enjoying the performance. They did not feel what he was feeling. He knew Feng Feifei must have only been doing it to him. Han Sen did not move. The sound was unbearable. It would have been utterly frightening to other people, but Han Sen was able to completely ignore it. All he had to do was focus, and the sound became as quiet as a mosquito. He did not even need a gene race to fight it. When Feng Feifei witnessed Han Sen display no reaction, and he even had the audacity to wink at her, she was shocked. She really wanted to win. As she increased the phoenix sound power, it was in her voice. It was like the sound of a phoenix on cloud 9. It started to break the sky. It was like it was going to draw Han Sen into a vortex. Other people could not hear it at all. Even Bald Guy, who was next to Han Sen, had no such feelings. He still looked drunk in the pleasure of hearing Feng Feifei's voice. Han Sen looked as if he did not feel anything either. Although he heard the sounds did not affect him in the least. Feng Feifei saw Han Sen smiling at her. For some reason, she felt as if the smile was extra spiteful. She powered up the phoenix sound power. So no matter how far Feng Feifei increased the phoenix sound power, Han Sen shrugged it off as if he did not hear it. He just kept smiling at her, which made Feng Feifei believe her phoenix sound power might have a problem. The song was almost over, but she was still unable to affect Han Senator. It triggered Feng Feifei's desire to win even more. When she sang the last sentence, Feng Feifei used the Holy Phoenix and combined with her gene skill Phoenix's Cry Together. The sonic power of the Phoenix's Cry Together was able to break platinum. Although Feng Feifei did not try her best, she could no longer hide her sonic powers. Even her voice started to sound weird. At this time, many true elites noticed Feng Feifei's voice was a bit strange. They frowned. They looked at Han Sen, who was getting attacked by the center point of that Phoenix's Cry Together part. Han Sen behaved as if he could not hear the scary shockwaves. He let the sound wash over him and sat unaffected. He smiled at Feng Feifei. Bald Guy, who was sitting next to him, now had to plant his hands on his ears. He looked as if he was in intense agony. He was sitting too close to Han Sen, so he was suffering its effect. Fortunately, Feng Feifei was one of the 3 top singers. A scary power like that was still something she was able to hide very well. The power was not strong enough to damage Bald Guy. By doing that, everyone's attention now turned to Han Senator. He and Bald Guy had suddenly become the focus of attention. Everyone held their hurting ears. They looked at Bald Guy, but the people that realized that the problem was Han Senator, he was behaving extremely chill. Feng Feifei, the professional singer, was using Phoenix's Cry Together to deal with a person who was attending her birthday party. Everyone was interested in who this individual was. Mr. God One was looking at Han Sen thinking of something. He smiled. Feng Feifei knew it was a bit too much this time, but she could still see that smile on his face. It was so annoyingly wretched that it made her feel awful. If I knew that, I would have tried my hardest with Phoenix's Cry Together on the final sentence of the song. Feng Feifei thought. The power of phoenixes cry together was incredibly strong. If she had tried her hardest, the entire arena would have been affected. At the end of the day, that wouldn't have been what she wanted. Happy birthday, Auntie. After Feng Feifei sang the song, a pretty little girl approached the stage with a birthday cake in her hands. She walked in front of Feng Feifei. When Han Sen saw the little girl, he was given a fright. His pupils went smaller, and the corner of his eyes became teary. That little girl was only 5 or 6 years old, but she looked just like Xiang Yin. It was like a child version of Xiang Yin. Impossible. Does that mean Xiang Yin died and was reborn here? Han Sen looked at the little girl and felt his eyes become blurry. He thought about what he had been through with Xiang Yin and how nice she had treated him. He felt as if his heart had been cut. Although Han Sen could not confirm the little girl was the reborn Xiang Yin, he had not heard about her for many years. Thus, she probably had already been reborn. Plus, that little girl looked exactly like Xiang Yin. It was difficult for Han Sen not to think that way. Thank you, little Yin. Feng Feifei stopped looking at Han Senator. She squatted down and smiled at the little girl. Her name is Little Yin? Han Sen was shocked. Han Sen's heart was like iron, but he got sad sometimes. The touching feeling Xiang Yin evoked was something he had never felt from others. While everyone was celebrating, Feng Feifei blew the candles out on the cake. It looked like she was everyone's focus. In Han Sen's eyes, the focus was only on the little girl. Is she Xiang Yin's big sister? Han Sen felt terrible. He did not know what to feel. Han Sen was planning to leave early, but he stopped thinking about doing that now. He wanted to find a chance to interact with that girl called Little Yin. He wanted to find out if she was little big sister Xiang Yin. The little girl remained with Feng Feifei, and Feng Feifei was perpetually surrounded by nobles. Han Sen and Bald Guy did not have what it took to penetrate that circle. Han Sen could not wait any longer. For the past few years, few things made his heart jump that fast. Now his heart was beating rapidly. My little dear, do you want her? Then go get her. If you are willing, I can help you. Do not be afraid. The shadow of the big sky demon appeared next to Han Senator. It was like she was holding him from afar, whispering into his ears. Chapter 3094 Si Ming Demon Race. Han Sen ignored the big sky demon. Although he was very tempted by her offer, if the big sky demon wanted to encourage him to murder, it was not so easy. It seemed as if she could feel the object of Han Sen's gaze. The little girl, standing next to Feng Feifei, looked his way. She looked at Han Sen, and the two shared a stare. The little girl appeared shocked. She looked confused. There was a sprinkle of confusion in her beautiful eyes. After a second, the little girl ran from the crowd. She ran toward Han Senator. Everyone's focus was still fixed on Feng Feifei. No one noticed the behavior of the little girl. She quickly raced over to Han Sen and checked him out. With confusion, she asked, "Big brother, have we met?" Han Sen's eyes turned very blurry. He was sure the little girl was Xiang Yin reborn. Xiang Yin was one of ancient devil's 8 generals. Han Sen saw her fly in the sanctuaries, and he made a promise that they would meet again. When Han Sen ascended to the next sanctuary, he was unable to find her. He did not expect she had been reborn instead. Han Sen looked at the little girl and replied, "No. My name is Han Senator. What is your name?" "Feng Feifei is my auntie. My name is Feng Yin. You can call me Little Yin." Feng Yin saw Han Sen, and somehow thought he was very nice. She felt as if she wanted to get closer to him. "You can call me Sanmu," Han Sen said. "Sanmu? Come over here. Let me show you something good." Han Sen was no stranger to Feng Yin's voice. She pulled Han Sen by the hand and took him to a castle. Han Sen did not decline. Bald Guy was shocked by this. He did not expect Feng Feifei's niece would get along with Han Sen so well. He stood up too. Everyone was focusing on Feng Feifei. No one else noticed them leave. Feng Yin took Han Sen and Bald Guy through a hallway. They quickly reached a garden. There was an old tree in the garden. The tree had many bells on it. They were like flowers, and they were like fruit. There were no leaves. When the wind blew, the tree sounded like a ringtone with rhythm. It was not too loud. It made people feel happy to hear it. Bald Guy was shocked. He pointed at the gently glowing old tree and asked, "Is that the legendary old bell god tree? Is it the legendary top-class sonic gene race?" Feng Yining laughed and nodded. "Yes, it is the old bell god tree, but it is an adult. It cannot be tamed. We moved it here to shower it with the old bell god sounds. That way, we can get sonic powers." After that, Feng Yining pulled Han Sen to sit on the grass beneath the tree. She closed her eyes. "My auntie really loves this tree. She won't let anyone get close, but she loves me more than anything. Only I am allowed to come here, so please don't tell anyone that you came near here." "Of course." Han Sen patted his chest. "By the way, Senmu, where do you live? How can I find you?" Feng Yining asked Han Sr. "I have not been in the capital long. I have not yet found a stable place to live. This is my phone number. If you want to find me, you should call this number." Han Sen gave Feng Yining his phone number. "In that case you can stay in my house," Feng Yining happily said. If someone else had said that, Han Sen would have rejected without thinking. But this was Feng Yining, so it was hard for him to refuse. In fact, he very much wanted to talk to Feng Yining more. Looking at her was more than enough. Bald Guy looked at Han Sen weirdly and thought, "Is this guy secretly a pedophile?" A purple-clothed woman sneakily walked out of the party. She went to a corner of the castle, where no one was nearby. She sat alone in the dark. "The things you guys wanted are here," the purple-clothed woman said. She was like a thief, handing something over to someone. "What took you so long?" The person in the dark accepted the item. The purple-clothed woman said, "Feng Fei is being careful. If it wasn't a bit messy in the celebration, I would not have been able to get it. Where is my stuff?" In the dark, the man gave the purple-clothed woman a box. He then stood up and left. The purple-clothed woman saw the box and closed it. She carefully put it away. She felt excited and said, "With this God-class Sky Voice 100 Spirit Bird Egg, I see Tuya will be better than Feng Fei. With Feng Fei's death, there will be a slot for a new singer." After the man in the dark left the castle, he went back to Gongshu Manor. The man was Gong Shuji's old servant. "Master, I have Feng Fei's hair." The old servant took out a strand of hair. It was contained in a glass bottle. He carefully placed it down in front of Gong Shuji. "Very good. I have finally got it." Gong Shuji picked up the hair. He looked murderous. The god spirit blood pulse mark was flickering on Gong Shuji's forehead. A black shadow appeared in front of him. It was a bronze statue that was around the same height as the average human. It had hair and limbs, but it did not have a face. It looked vintage and weird. "With this hair, I can activate the Si Ming demon race's power. She loves her birthday parties, so I want this little bitch to die in front of everyone." Gong Shuji gnashed his teeth. He put the hair on the bronze statue's empty face. The bronze statue suddenly flickered with a weird, green light. It absorbed the hair. At the same time, the bronze statue changed. It started to display a face. If one looked closely, one would realize the face looked like Feng Fei's. It was not just her face. Even the body of the bronze statue started to change. Not long later, it turned into Feng Fei. "Good. See, Tuya did not lie to us. She got us Feng Fei's hair." Gong Shuji looked very excited. He stared at the Si Ming demon race, which looked just like Feng Fei. His voice squeezed out from between clenched teeth. "My son, you hold on for a bit longer. The woman you liked will be keeping your company very soon." When Gong Shuji spoke, the eyes of the bronze statue turned red. It was so spooky and weird. It was like a demon. Feng Fei noticed Feng Yining was gone, so she looked for her. It was her birthday, but it was Feng Yinyan's birthday the next day. After midnight it would be Feng Yinyan's birthday. So, she spent every birthday with Feng Yining. After 12, she would give Feng Yining her gift. It was already almost midnight, and Feng Yining was gone. Feng Fei sent people to find her, but they were unable to locate her. So she went looking for her herself. Feng Yining was in the backyard. Aside from here, there were another two people. One of them was Han Sen, who Feng Fei really despised. Chapter 3095 Villager that has an online shop. Little Een, why are you here? Feng Fei walked in front of Feng Een. She looked happy as she spoke. She had always loved Feng Een. Now it was Feng Yin's birthday. She would not tell her off. Although Feng Yin had brought Han Sun and the other man with her, she did not show how upset she was. Feng Yin was going to answer, but Feng Fei suddenly shocked her. She said, "Little auntie, your nose is bleeding." Feng Fei was surprised by that. She took out a cloth to wipe her nose. There was some blood smeared across the white towel. Maybe my nose is too dry? Feng Fei did not think it was anything too strange. She wiped away the blood and took Feng Yin by the hand. "Little Een, let's go into the lobby. Your birthday starts very soon. I have a very special gift for you." After that, she looked at Han Sun and Bald Guy and said, "You two, come to the lobby. Help yourselves to the food and drinks. Little Een, it is your birthday today." Han Sun only knew it was Feng Fei's birthday. He did not know Feng Yin had a birthday celebration as well. "After midnight, it is my birthday. San Mu, go and celebrate my birthday." Little Een held Feng Fei's hand, and she also held Han Sen's hand. She happily went to the lobby. Feng Fei was shocked. She did not know why Feng Yin was being so nice to Han Senator. The way she looked at Han Sun was like she was looking at a bad guy that kidnapped underage girls. Han Sun ignored Feng Fei's mean gaze. Feng Fei kept walking and asked Feng Yin, "Little Een, since when did you make a friend like this? I had no idea." "I met him at the party," Feng Yin said. "I have not introduced you yet, but that is fine. You guys can get to know each other later. Let's go to the lobby. I really want to know what kind of special gift you got me." She pulled the two of them into the hall. Feng Fei had been missing, so many people had gone out in search of her. Feng Yin was holding the hands of two people. When she pulled Feng Fei and Han Sun into the lobby, many people frowned. Situya came forward. She smiled at Feng Fei and Feng Yin as she asked, "Fei, Little Een, where did you guys go?" "Nowhere. We were just preparing gifts for Little Een," Feng Fei said. Situya saw Feng Yin holding Han Sun, so she asked, "This is?" In the high-class circles of the capital, she had never seen him before. She recognized the bald fellow though. She knew him as Xia Yufei. While Xia Yufei was a student of Mr. Wei, his talents were decidedly average. He did not have much renown. It was not enough for him to be considered one of the upper echelons. "This is San Mu, my friend," Feng Yin said. She pulled Han Sun to the main table. At a party like that, wherever people sat was already predetermined. To sit at the main table was something only very prestigious characters of the capital did. Now Feng Yin had pulled Han Sun over to sit at the main table. He occupied a space right next to her. He sat beside Feng Fei too. Many people thought it was really weird. Situya looked at Feng Fei with confusion. Feng Fei performed a shrugging gesture and said, "Mr. Han is Little Yin's friend. Little Een wanted him to celebrate with her." After hearing that, everybody knew Han Sun sitting there wasn't something that had been arranged by Feng Fei. It was because Feng Yin did not know her manners, and had brought a friend from the outside. They now understood the situation. Situya looked at Han Senator. She smiled and said, "To be Little Yin's friend, you must be a very excellent person. I wonder, which family do you hail from?" "I was born on ancient Big God Mountain," Han Sun truthfully answered. That was where he had come from. In this universe at least. That counted as his birthplace. After hearing that, the expressions on the nobles' faces looked weird. Many people mockingly looked at him. For the people born into a higher class, it was known where their blood came from. If it was good, they would earn a town. Han Sun said he was from ancient Big God Mountain. It proved he was a villager that did not even own a town. An identity like that was only one level higher than a slave. Without a background of prestige, even having a god spirit blood pulse didn't do much. To be a town leader was the best they might one day achieve. Being a town leader meant nothing in that place. Whoever went there owned numerous towns. Situya said, "I did not know Mr. Han came from someplace so far away. You must have big business in Jade Wall City." She looked at Han Sun as if she was smiling, But she was not smiling. She was not picking on Han Senator. He had said Feng Yining pulled him there. But he was Feng Feifei's guest. If she could embarrass him, it would embarrass Feng Feifei too. Si Tuya and Feng Feifei were singers. They were best friends. At least, people thought they were best friends. Si Tuya was secretly very jealous of Feng Feifei. If she wasn't, she would not have helped Gong Shuji harm Feng Feifei. Because Si Tuya did a very good job in the service, Feng Feifei thought she was like a good sister. It is not big business. I have an online shop in which I sell Jin eggs, Hansen honestly confessed. After saying that, Si Tuya and the other nobles looked at him with disdain. An online Jin egg shop could be successful, but no matter how good it was nothing mainstream and thought highly of. It was even like that for the Lucier shop. The real Jin egg shops that sold high-class stuff did not exist solely in cyberspace. Mr. Han is the same as us, a young man said with a smile. He waved his fan as he spoke aloud. I am not very good. The Jin shop I opened is called Sky. I wonder what your shop is called, and what sort of Jin eggs you sell. The way he spoke with Han-sun was not in cheer. It was like he was making fun of a dog or a cat. My online shop is called Shop, Han-sun replied. It has not been open for long. It sells Viscount class and Earl class Jin eggs. When everyone heard that, they laughed. The young man laughed very hard. It really is a small shop. You are not going to use a Jin egg from your shop as a gift for Feng Yining, are you? That is what I was planning to do, yes. No one thought Han-sun had the guts to pull out a cheap gift to present Feng Feifei, but he did. I am really looking forward to seeing your gift, Si Tuya said in jest. She realized the joke might have made her look bad, so she said nothing more. When everyone sat down, the people at the main table carried on with their discussions, and ignored Han Senator. Only Feng Yining spoke to Han Senator. They did not all ignore Han-sun on purpose though. It was just because Han-sun was a villager that owned an online shop. Their circles couldn't really mesh well, so the well of conversations people from different circles could have was a bit dry. Therefore no one spoke to Han Sr. Chapter 3096 Birthday Gift. After Han-sun told them his shop name, Feng Feifei thought it sounded familiar. But she paid in no true mind and did not make the connection. Everyone was talking and laughing. The shadow of the big sky demon suddenly appeared next to Han Senator. She came from behind and held Han Sen's chest. She whispered into his ear. My little lover, that pretty singer has been doomed by a Jin race. She is dying. Do you want to let her die? Which one? Han-sun whispered back at a volume only he could hear. He looked at the pure light salamander in his pocket. While the pure light salamander did react, it was to other Jin races. It did not detect the big sky demon. Of course it is Feng Feifei. She is such a beautiful woman. Even I like her. Later, she will be bleeding all over her face. Her skin will fall off, and she will die. What a shame. The big sky demon placed her lips right next to Han Sen's ear. She used a seductive tone to speak into Han Sen's ear. Han-sun looked at Feng Feifei. Although he did not know much about Jin races, he had learned a thing or two. He could not tell whether or not Feng Feifei was doomed by a Jin race, but he could tell Feng Feifei was not well. Her face looked strangely red. Other people would have thought she had makeup on, such as some blush on the cheeks girls frequently used. Han-sun knew the red possessed an evil power. There was a tint of blood in Feng Feifei's black eyes. One would have been unable to tell it was there if one did not look closely. It was weird. It was like blood snakes were writhing around. Thinking about Feng Feifei suddenly bleeding from her nose earlier, he thought what the big sky demon told him might be true. How do I break the clutch that Jin race has on Feng Feifei? Han-sun quietly asked. If it was just the average Feng Feifei having this issue, he would not have cared. But Feng Feifei was little Yin's auntie, and they seemed close. Han-sun did not want to see little Yin be upset. Now that he knew this, he could not just sit and watch. It is a Si Ming demon race, the big sky demon said with a smile. It is a rare god-class Jin race. Its master grew this Si Ming demon race to the ultimate level. If you had noticed sooner, you might have been able to get rid of it. Now her soul has been wholly consumed by it. You cannot remove its presence now. So can she be saved? Han-sen asked. The big sky demon sighed and said, no. If you really like her, I can try to save her. But it will be very hard. I will require your assistance. How do I help you? Han-sen asked. It is very simple, the big sky demon said. Just use your blood to draw a spell, my love. Put the blood spell on her. Then you can remove the Si Ming demon race power. Han-sen smiled. He did not believe a word Big Sky Demon was telling him. The Big Sky Demon wanted a blood spell to probably go against his own wishes. My love, if you do not save her, she really will perish, the Big Sky Demon calmly said. Look at her ears if you do not believe me. Han-sen looked at Feng Fei-Fei's ear. Due to the fact he and Feng Fei-Fei were sitting next to Little Yin, he could see Feng Fei-Fei's left ear was extremely red. It was like she was drunk. It was a red that most people assumed wasn't a problem. When Han-sen looked closer, he saw her ear possess vibrant, strained veins that were spreading like a web. The Si Ming demon race was something too rare. Even many nobles had never heard of its existence. It was also the best part of the party. No one had noticed something had happened to Feng Fei-Fei. They would have assumed she had become drunk with ease. Although Han-sen knew Feng Fei-Fei had something wrong with her, he did not know much about gene races. He did not know how to erase the gene race power on Feng Fei-Fei. Seeing Han-sen not do anything, the big sky demon sighed and said, Little loser, you think too much. If you do not want to lose your blood, there is only one other way. You have got a blood ghost spirit gene race. That blood ghost spirit power can suppress the Si Ming demon race, but it can only suppress it. You cannot completely erase it. For that, you require a special skill. What do I do? Han-sen quietly asked. Envy the big sky demon was fast. She told Han-sen the method required. He had no idea what she was thinking. The party went on swimmingly. Once it was past midnight, the place flickered in the glow of fireworks. Everyone was celebrating Feng Yinyan's birthday. After the celebration, Feng Fei-Fei put a box in front of Feng Yinyan. She nicely said, Little Yin, this is a gift from your auntie. See if you like it. Thank you, auntie. Feng Yinyan opened the box immediately. She did it every year, so she was used to it. When Feng Yinyan opened the box, she saw a gene egg inside it that was shining like a gem. There was even magical music coming out from the gene egg. Feng Yinyan only knew this was a gene egg. She did not know what sort of gene egg it was. Situya saw the gene egg and became extremely jealous. She maintained her calm and said, Little Yin, your auntie is so nice to you. This is a very famous sonic gene race. It is an autumn cicada. Although autumn cicadas are a marquis gene race, it is a very rare one. It is especially useful for singers. The autumn cicadas can provide the wielder a very cold, autumnal voice. The voice might be a bit rough, but the songs you sing will be very touching. Many singers want autumn cicadas. The last sentence Situya said was true. She wanted an autumn cicada, but the autumn cicadas were too rare. Although it was marquis class, to singers it was more important than a king class gene race. No matter who it was, they would cherish the autumn cicadas. No one would sell it. It was something most people could not buy with money. Thank you, auntie. I love it. Feng Yinyan grabbed Feng Fei-Fei by the neck and kissed her. I am glad you like it. The autumn cicada actually suits adults more. I was planning to give you a mutant 8-sound bug since that would be more suitable for you, but Feng Fei-Fei stopped talking. She thought about the mutant 8-sound bug costing 10 million. It was not something she was able to purchase. The young man next to them said, The 8-sound bugs are not hard to find, but the mutant 8-sound bug is a priceless treasure. It is rarer than an autumn cicada. It will be very hard to find. You already did well for finding an autumn cicada. Everyone said something similar. Feng Yinyan said she liked the autumn cicada too. I wonder what Mr. Han will provide as a gene race, a woman said. It cannot be a mutant 8-sound bug. She was making fun of him. That woman was supposed to be on the main table, but Feng Yinyan sat Han-sen in her seat and kicked her away. She felt humiliated, so she hated Han Senator. She could not help but mock him and make him look bad. Chapter 3097 Suddenly muted Feng Yin patted Han Sen's hand and said, "You being here is enough of a gift for me." She did not want Han Sen to feel bad. Han Sen looked at Feng Yin apologetically. "Sorry. I did not know it was your birthday today." When everyone heard Han Sen say that, they thought the situation was even more hilarious. The woman laughed and asked, "Who doesn't know Feng Feifei celebrates her birthday alongside Feng Yin?" Han Sen ignored her. He pulled out a gene egg and presented it to Feng Yin. "It means I did not have the time to get a gift box. So, I will give it to you like this." "I like it." Feng Yin did not know it was a mutant 8-sound bug egg. She just didn't want Han Sen to feel bad, so she smiled at Han Sen and accepted it. That mutant 8-sound bug. Feng Feifei, who was next to them, was shocked. She had seen it many times online. She wanted to buy it for Feng Yin. She knew about the mutant 8-sound bug. When she saw Feng Yin holding it, she immediately recognized what it was. "Really? That is a mutant 8-sound bug egg?" Everyone looked at Feng Yin's gene egg with a look of disbelief. They had not thought something like this would happen. After talking about the mutant 8-sound bug egg, Han Sen had handed one out immediately after. "Feifei, have you made a mistake in identifying it?" Situya did not know what a mutant 8-sound bug egg looked like. She looked at Feng Feifei with suspicion. Feng Feifei looked at Feng Yin's gene egg. Suddenly, she seemed to notice something and asked Han Sen, "Mr. Han, did you say your online shop is called Shop?" "Yes," Han Sen said with a nod. After receiving the confirmation, Feng Feifei started to look weird. "Are you the owner of Shop? Does that mean it was your shop selling the mutant 8-sound bug egg?" "Yes," Han Sen said with a nod again. The singer, who was next to the table, said with shock, "I remember now. It was Shop. No wonder it sounded so familiar. I saw it online too. It was a mutant 8-sound bug egg. It was being sold for 999,999,999, and not a cent less. I had a friend that I offered 3 million to, but I was declined. The owner is you, Mr. Han?" After hearing her say that, everyone knew that this was the mutant 8-sound bug egg. Everyone started looking at Han Sen a bit weirdly. Situya was a bit jealous now. She did not want to believe this was possible. She smiled at Feng Yin and said, "Such a rare gene race. Why doesn't Feng Yin hatch it now to let us all see it?" Feng Yin looked at Han Senator. He nodded. Feng Yin agreed to do it. She activated her God Spirit blood pulse and hatched the mutant 8-sound bug egg. A beautiful, silver 8-sound bug appeared in Feng Yin's hand. It was like a butterfly flying. Situya was even more jealous. "I tried my hardest to achieve all that I have today. I have suffered so much to get to where I am. But she receives these things so easily. Why?" Situya was incredibly jealous, but her smile managed to fake it. With the mutant 8-sound bug egg for a gift, all the other amazing gifts she received from others paled in comparison. Feng Feifei was really suspicious about what Han Sen did. It was such a profound treasure, so she couldn't quite believe he had given it to Feng Yin. She did not know what he was trying to achieve. It was not like Han Sen was trying to befriend her by doing that. When Feng Feifei wanted to buy the mutant 8-sound bug off Han Sen, he had not agreed. Furthermore, he had offended Gong Shu Jin by declining. Now he had merrily given Feng Yin the egg. He obviously wasn't doing it for Feng Feifei. How did Yin even become his friend? Feng Feifei wanted to ask that, but she did not want to ask it at the party. Now many people were interested in Han Sen's shop. They asked what sort of rare gene eggs he sold. In the universe of kingdoms, humans relied on gene races too much. Everyone wanted a friend who could gather rare gene eggs. Han Sen's answers disappointed them. He said he only owned a small shop that sold low-class gene eggs. The mutant 8-sound bug egg was the best he had in the shop. There were no other gene eggs up for purchase. The nobles did not believe him. If he was able to hand out a mutant 8-sound bug egg for free, there was no chance his shop had nothing else of prestige. Everyone made sure to remember the name of the shop. They were going to check it out sometime. "Auntie, why would you?" At the party, Feng Yin suddenly pointed at Feng Feifei and screamed. Everyone looked at Feng Feifei. After they saw her, they were shocked. Blood was coming out from her eyes. The bloody tears rolled down her cheeks. Feng Feifei's pretty face looked weird and scary. What happened to me? Feng Feifei looked confused. She did not feel anything. She took a mirror out of her purse and looked. When she saw the blood, she was given a fright. Without hesitation, Feng Feifei summoned the Holy Sound Phoenix and combined with it. The Holy Sound surrounded her. She had phoenix wings and glowed with a god light. Feng Feifei knew she must have had a gene race power afflicting her, but she did not know what sort of gene race might be endangering her life. She used the Holy Sound Phoenix power to protect herself. She hoped that might stop her from getting any worse. Feng Fei quickly realized that it was futile. Her adult god-class Holy Sound Phoenix could not achieve anything now. She did not just have bloody tears. Her mouth, nose, and ears were bleeding. She was like a ghost. Although the Holy Sound Phoenix heir was nearby and she was pretty, she looked very scary. Feng Feifei, do not worry. Allow me to help. A handsome young man at the main table looked overbearing. He combined with a giant spirit. He was soon glowing with holy light. He fired holy light at Feng Feifei to stop the weird power from damaging her further. His efforts did nothing either. Feng Feifei's eyes were blood red, and her god mark displayed a problem. She screamed at the sky. With the Holy Sound Phoenix still with her, frightening acoustic shockwaves were generated. The entire lobby was destroyed. Many nobles reacted quickly. They combined with a gene race to block the shockwave, but many people were still shocked by the scream and bled. Han Sen pulled Feng Yinyin behind him. He used blood fire to stop the scary sound. The very beautiful lobby had suddenly become something more akin to a landfill. Chapter 3098 Saving People. Feng Feifei was one of the 3 top singers. She was very powerful. All of the party guests were high-class people, but many people were injured by her sonic blast. People were using their gene class powers to try and help her, but all attempts were futile. Her body was like a sonic tide. She had a phoenix's body to protect her, but that meant no other powers could come close. That was how powerful she was. Now that power was able to kill people. The scary power made many elites unable to get close. So she was not afraid of anything. Feng Feifei did not attack anyone. After she screamed, she put out a hand imbued with holy light. She threw it at her face. If she stabbed herself, it would not be just her eyes ruined. Her entire face would be. No, auntie, Feng Yinyin shouted. In tears, she started running toward Feng Feifei. Han Sen sighed. His body flashed behind Feng Feifei. His arms were very strong. They were like a chain around her body. He pulled her arms so she could not bring harm to herself. Their bodies flashed. Han Sen took Feng Feifei to a room at the side of the hall, and slammed the door closed behind him. He shouted at Feng Yinyin, who was still out there. Little Yin, guard the door. Do not let anyone come inside. For some reason, Feng Yinyin trusted Han Sen a lot. She adhered to his command and guarded the door, not allowing the other elites access to the room. Feng Feifei's family members soon arrived. After Feng Yinyin stopped them, they helped guard the door as well. Inside the room, Han Sen put Feng Feifei down on a table. He used one hand to pin her down. He used the other hand to take off her clothes and reveal the red skin. There was a green shadow near her heart. It looked like a lotus flower and was releasing scary air. It was like a flower of death coming to bloom beneath her skin. Han Sen's hand had blood air. He pressed the shadow. His nails broke her skin. He put the blood ghost spirit's power inside of her. When the blood ghost spirit power went into her blood, there were some sort of bronze wires visible within the shadow. They were like hairs. The bronze wires came out of the skin carrying blood. The pain that drilled into her heart made her scream aloud. Little Yin, this Han Sen guy is mysterious. How can he be in a room with your auntie all alone? Let us in. Si Tuya was in a hurry. She was not worried about Feng Feifei's safety. She was afraid Feng Feifei might live. If Han Sen stopped Gong Shuji's conspiracy, it might bode badly for her. She was in a rush to go inside. She wanted to destroy Han Sen's plans. She did not want any accidents. Feng Feifei had to die, no matter what. HF Han Sen did not want anyone to go inside, Perhaps the process of recovery could not be interrupted. If she went in, perhaps she could interrupt Feng Fei from being saved. No. You guys can't go inside. San Mu is saving little auntie. Feng Yining stood in front of the door. She opened her arms, blocking the frame of the door. She did not allow anyone else to get close. Little Yin, you do not know how evil people can be. Han Sun came out of nowhere. Perhaps he is the one doing damage to your aunt. We should go and take a look. Otherwise, if he hurts your aunt, it will be too late. Si Tuya saw Feng Yining was unbudging in her resolve, so she said, if he is really saving someone, why can't he save her in front of us? There is something fishy going on here. We just want to take a look. If he is saving Fei, we won't do anything to stop him. Everyone thought that made sense. They did their best to convince Feng Yining, but she did not listen. She guarded the front of the door, and did not allow anyone else to enter. Arg! As this occurred, Feng Fei screamed. That scream sounded weird, and it went on and on. Feng Fei was still merged with the holy sound phoenix. Her voice was soft, but now she was screaming. It did not sound like a horrible scream. It was a moan of suffering. In the middle of all those endless screams, people on the outside displayed weird expressions. People with a dirty mind thought of all kinds of naughty scenes. They did not know there were some bronze wires inside her skin. They were like hair coming out of her skin. It made Feng Fei feel pure agony. She felt itchy and numb all over. What she shouted wasn't something purely placed in pain. That was why her cries sounded so weird. Oh no. That asshole must be harassing Fei. Let us in. Si Tuya knew was not happening, but she still said it on purpose. Among the guests, many young nobles had a crush on Feng Fei. After hearing that, they could not hold themselves back, no matter how much Feng Yining barred their entry. After Si Tuya said what she did, the expressions on many men's faces changed. They heard the itch-like moans, which made them think of strange things. Miss Yining, please let us in. A man said as he walked close to Feng Yining. If that person is doing evil deeds with Miss Feng Fei, you are harming your aunt. The man was very high class. When Si Tuya heard him say that, she was delighted. San Mu won't hurt auntie, Feng Yining said with certainty. She was innocent, and she trusted Han Senator she would never doubt him. Little Yin does not know anything. We cannot just sit and wait while Feng Fei is brought harm. We should just rush in. Si Tuya went toward the room. Feng Fei's family wanted to stop her, but Si Tuya immediately said, Little Yin is too young to understand, I get that. But do none of you understand it, either? We just want what is best for Fei. If you guys are worried, we can all go in together. The family members were hesitant. Han Sun was suspicious, and the screaming from the room was very weird. While the family members hesitated, Si Tuya raced inside. She picked up Feng Yining, who was next to the door, and told the people, Let's all go inside. We cannot allow that scumbag to harm Fei. The nobleman echoed her desire, chanting, Let's go in. We cannot allow Feng Fei to be brought harm. If he is saving Feng Fei, perhaps we can be of aid. The family members wondered what Han Sun was doing to her too. They did not know if they should interfere, but that noble was of a very high level. While they wondered, the noble, with a few other nobles, followed Si Tuya to the door. Feng Yining was too young. She was picked up by Si Tuya and unable to run. She shouted, Let me go. I will not let you guys go in. Uncle Lu, what are you doing? Hurry up and stop them. Be still, little Yin. We just want to be nice to your aunt. Si Tuya put on a face, suggesting it was good for her. Her hands pushed the door. She pushed on the door, but it would not budge. It was locked. Si Tuya coldly asked, If he did not have evil deeds in mind, why would he lock the door? After that, Si Tuya gathered up power and tried to break the door down. This time, she used all her power to try and get inside. Chapter 3099 Sky Jade Pang. The room's door was blown open by Si Tuya, but no one was able to see what was inside. All they saw was a strong, holy white shadow blocking the door. Pang! Pang! Situya could not see what that white shadow was. She felt darkness approach her. Suddenly, the shadow of two legs appeared and kicked her in the face. She went flying away. The white shadow also took Feng Yin from Situya's arms. Situya's face had two red very distinct footprints. Her cheekbones had been caved in. Her nose was broken as she fell before the people. A noble in the back held her and stopped her. As he clutched her, her face was full of blood. Everyone knew it was a holy one white deer that had kicked Situya. The head of the creature had antlers with holy light. It was as if it was the light from the sun. The white deer put Feng Yin on its back. It blocked the open door and stared at the people. It was quiet and calm. It looked like a white jade statue. Adult holy one white deer, someone yelled with shock. God-class gene races were very rare to see, and this one was very unique. Its rank was not particularly high, but it was not something often seen. Growing a God-class gene race into an adult was not easy. It took a lot of monetary investment. Little Mr. Hansen really does have the heart of a wolf. You must save Fei Fei. Situya was in shock. She bled from her mouth as she still tried to play innocent and have others do her bidding. She knew she had sold out Feng Fei Fei. If Feng Fei Fei lived, people would know it was her. Given how popular Feng Fei Fei was with the people, it would only lead to her death. The little Mr. Situya was referring to was the high-class nobleman next to her. He had purple hair that looked like it was glowing. His eyes were like the moon in the sky. His entire body had a mysterious and noble feeling. He looked like some god straight out of a fairy tale. There were a lot of humans on Feng Fei Fei's guest list, but there was only one real nobleman. Situya was severely injured, but she still insisted on trying to trick this man. She believed he was the only one that could stop all this. His name was Do Tianyu. He was the son of a general. He was a real godblood noble. He had the protection of a god spirit. He was certainly stronger than the average human. Hansen, even if you are saving people, you must let us see what has happened to Feng Fei Fei. Do that and assure us of her safety. Do Tianyu let Situya go. He went toward the holy one white deer. It was not certain what gene race he had combined with, but his body developed a mysterious aura that swirled around him. It almost looked solid. It turned into a holy light that flickered around him. His body grew bigger with every step he took. It made the power and holy one white deer look small before him. People knew this was just an illusion. Do Tianyu wasn't actually bigger. It was just because he was so strong that people made the mistake of thinking that. They felt jealous of him. Only the true godblood nobles who were blessed by god spirits could possess such a power. That was someone born with noble blood and loved by the gods. Even the adult holy one white deer was scared before him. If it was not for Hansen's command, it would have probably run off by now. Every step Do Tianyu took he shouted, "Go away!" The way he said it was not very harsh, but it seemed powerful. It was very overbearing and suppressive. The holy one white deer could not help but take a step back. Its body trembled. Because of Hansen's command, it did not run away. If things are like that, then you cannot blame me for what I will do, Do Tianyu coldly said. His fist carried a scary god light. He threw a punch toward the holy one white deer. Situya was watching from the back. Her face was injured, but she looked happy. She remembered that was the gene combined skill Jade Demon Punch. Do Tianyu had combined with the god-class gene race Jade Crystal Demon. Legends claimed that the punch was indestructible, but it had very soft power. One such punch was able to reduce a mountain into dust. Even so, the mountain would stay still. It would remain complete as if nothing happened. When the wind blew, the mountain would fall apart. It resulted in a sky full of dust. Even god-class gene races could not accept such a strike. To have been invited to the party, the people there had reputations. They recognized Do Tianyu's punch. Even if they did not recognize it, they all knew something about it. People thought it was a great shame. It was such a nice holy one white deer, but it was now going to be blown up. It was soon to be reduced to dust. Seeing the Jade Demon Punch hit the holy one white deer, the room was filled with a red punch power. It struck Do Tianyu's Jade Demon Punch. Boom. After that explosion, people were shocked to discover that Do Tianyu had been struck by that red punching power. Do Tianyu's hair waved. His clothes were ruffled. His face had some weird red on it. He had not taken the advantage. How is that possible? He blocked Do Tianyu's Jade Demon Punch. So scary. Hansen has a big problem. He blocked the Jade Demon Punch. Not many people in Jade Wall City can do such a thing. This red light is so weird. What kind of gene race power is that? Do Tianyu's eyes glowed. He stared at the Holy One white deer that was blocking the doorframe. He coldly said, "The Blood Ghost Spirit. You have the Blood Ghost Spirit. Who are you?" After he said that, the lobby fell silent. Everyone in the Qin Kingdom knew about the Blood Ghost Spirit. Mo Li used the Blood Ghost Spirit, which was one out of 3 gene races, to assassinate the king of the Wei Kingdom to save the Qin Kingdom. It made him a savior. No way. He is just a villager. How could he have a Blood Ghost Spirit gene race? Situya could not believe it. Do Tianyu coldly asked, "If it was not Blood Ghost Spirit, how could any other gene race cancel my Jade Demon Punch in such a fashion? This must be the Blood Ghost Spirit." Suddenly, the many high-class men in the lobby looked weird. They thought Hansen was just a villager with an online shop. They never expected him to give out a mutant 8-sound bug egg and have gene races like a Holy One white deer and Blood Ghost Spirit. Even a godblood noble like Do Tianyu was punched away. How scary was he? "I am just a villager who opened a shop." Hansen's voice sounded from the room. There was nothing special about it. He was still removing the Si Ming demon race from Feng Fei Fei. "If you are not telling us, then I will come in and take a look." Do Tianyu's eyes possessed a god light. His body flickered. He was like a god spirit going into the room. The Holy One white deer moved aside as Hansen bid him to. He went in front of Do Tianyu just as a blood-like punch came from the room. "Very good." Do Tianyu coldly shouted. His fist emitted a jade light. It was like a sun punching toward the red punch. Chapter 3101 Hand Fighting Back Enemies. Do Tianyu's Jade Demon Punch was so evil and overbearing, because a God Spirit Blood Pulse was an exclusive gene race. The power it was able to cast was more normal than an ordinary God-class gene race. No matter how overbearing and cruel he was blocked by the red punches. He could not get close to the room. Everybody was shocked. Do Tianyu and the other Godblood nobles used all their powers to attack, but they were still blocked outside the door. They were unable to imagine how powerful Hansen was. "Interesting," Mr. God One said. He was standing far away, watching Do Tianyu and the Red Fists fighting. He was intrigued. Situya was shocked. The stronger Hansen was, the higher the chance to erase the gene race power that was claiming Feng Fei Fei's life. To her this was terrible news. In the room, Hansen's purple dragon air and red power were combined into one. He waved one fist to block Do Tianyu outside the door. Another hand was inside the skin of Feng Fei Fei's chest. He was pulling out the copper wires from her chest. All of those copper wires were being pulled out, one by one. The lotus shadow beneath the skin was becoming dim. Feng Fei Fei's red eyes grew dimmer. A bit of clarity returned to her mind. What is he doing? Feng Fei Fei started to wake up. Her body was surrounded by purple and red lights. Hansen was like a demon god. She was extremely shocked. When she realized what was happening, she was even more shocked. A godblood noble. He is a godblood noble. Feng Fei Fei witnessed Hansen reaching out a fistful of light. It kept Do Tianyu at bay outside the door. He did not even look at the door. His eyes were observing her chest the entire time. Chest. When Feng Fei Fei thought of that, she blushed. She saw the bronze wires in front of her chest, and knew he was trying to save her life. She felt shy and even more amazed. Hansen used one hand to keep an elite like Do Tianyu at bay, and outside the door. On top of that, he still had the power to fix the scary and weird power that was trying to claim her life. Despite all that, he was doing totally fine. He probably had even more power. That was scary and hard to imagine. Who is he? How did he become Little Yin's friend? Feng Fei Fei felt very conflicted. Her pretty eyes looked weird. Outside the door, Do Tianyu summoned a god-spirit combination. He put his god spirit blood pulse to operate at max capacity. It made his entire body look like a reborn god spirit. He glowed with powerful god light. Every punch seemed as if it carried a power that could destroy the sky and earth. Even so, he was unable to enter the room. It shocked everyone. All they could do was stand back and watch. What is Hansen? Who is he? How is he able to fight a godblood noble? Is he a godblood noble too? No way. I never heard of a godblood noble named Han before. If he is not a godblood noble, how else is he able to challenge Do Tianyu, who has combined with a god spirit? Whatever happened today has been way too weird. Han Sun is too mysterious. Feng Feifei's voice came from the room. Little mister, please stop. Han Sun is helping me with the wound. He means no harm. Please everyone wait outside. Wait until I am mostly healed, and I will thank everyone again. After hearing her voice, Feng Yinin was very happy. Auntie, are you better? Little Yin, do not worry. Han Sun is healing me. I should be fine soon. Feng Feifei's voice came out from the room again. After she said that, everyone was even more shocked. Hansen was fighting the Do Tianyu and healing Feng Feifei at the same time. That was unbelievable. After hearing all of that, Do Tianyu frowned. His eyes burned with a god light, but he did not strike again. Mr. Han, you are very good. Today is not a good day to fight. Let's fight another day. Do Tianyu looked at the door, turned around and departed. This fight made Hansen's name become famous across Jadewall City. It was not too far-reaching, but it did have many superior people feel slightly worried. Of course, that was because not many people witnessed all of this with their own two eyes. Whoever heard about this thought the rumors had been blown out of proportion, and most of it had been made up. Even with a blood ghost spirit, he could not have healed Feng Feifei and keep the godblood noble Do Tianyu at bay. But Han Sun had also given away a mutant 8-sound bug egg. He had a holy one white deer and a blood ghost spirit. People were very curious about the identity of that individual, and they made sure to peruse the stock in his store. They wanted to see what other gene races Hansen's shop sold. The results disappointed them. Hansen's shop had mutant 8-sound bugs for sale, but the prices were too high. They were not worth the money they were priced at. Aside from that, there were just some Viscount and Earl-class gene races. They were rare, but they were not really good stuff. Some strange people bought some rare gene eggs from the shop. In Gongshu Manor, Gong Shuji was frozen. He saw the Si Ming demon race, which looked like Feng Feifei, releasing black smoke. Suddenly, it no longer resembled Feng Feifei. It looked like a faceless bronze statue. Gong Shuji's body shook. He coughed out blood. Impossible. That is impossible. Who destroyed the Si Ming demon race power? Gong Shuji's eyes were full of shock. Master, are you okay? The old servant picked up Gong Shuji. I am fine. Go and get Situya. Ask her what happened. Gong Shuji pushed the servant away. He gave the order in a fit of rage. After he said that, Situya, who had messy hair and a lot of blood on her face, rushed in. She asked, Mister, is your Si Ming demon race broken? What did that bitch Feng Feifei do? Gong Shuji madly asked. Situya's face looked like soil. She knew Gong Shuji's Si Ming demon race was broken. She told him about Han Sun being able to fight Do Tianyu while healing Feng Feifei at the same time. She did not stay and watch Feng Feifei come out. In a panic, she ran straight to Gong Shuji. Gong Shuji's expression changed. Does Han Sun have such power? Mister, what do we do now? Situya quickly asked. Feng Feifei will not let this go. Gong Shuji's face kept contorting. A while later he said, Do not worry. I have a way for them to be killed and not be brought back. What way is that? Situya asked. Mr. Mu always wanted my Si Ming demon race and a few other gene races. I did not want to make the trade, but I have to do it this time. Gong Shuji had a look of murder in his eyes as he said, My son is dead. It is pointless for me to hold on to these gene races. If Mr. Mu can help us, those two assholes will die. This Mr. Mu you speak of, is he the mister that guards Ice Snow God Temple? Situya was shocked and happy. Gong Shuji said, gnashed his teeth and said, yes. Regardless if he can beat Do Tianyu, against Mr. Mu he will die. Chapter 3101 Gold Electric Mark. Han Sun had just returned to the hotel when Mr. Yang excitedly said, Mr. All gone. The gene races we sell. Aside from the mutant 8 sound bug, people bought them all. Han Sun understood what had happened. He had impressed everyone at the party, and the people in attendance were rich and famous. They probably visited his shop with curiosity. It was nothing out of the ordinary for them to want to buy a few things. Put the mutant 8 sound bug egg down. After everything has been sold out, we should close the store and wait until I bring back more gene eggs. Han Sun was not in the mood to collect more. He was not concerned about earning a lot of money. He only needed enough to get by. Mister, although you are very powerful, if it is only you digging up gene eggs, much of your time will be wasted, Mr. Yang said. We cannot sustainably provide gene eggs, which is not good for our growth. Sun looked at Mr. Yang and asked, what do you mean, old Yang? Mr. Yang surprisingly stated his opinion. We can find a way to get resources and sell them online. Although that will earn us less money, it can be sustainable over a longer period of time. In that case, I will have to depend on you. Han Sun gave his money and authority to Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang was excited. He got ready to impress Han Senator before. He had no God Spirit Blood Pulse or any achievements. Now he had a God Spirit Blood Pulse, and it was a perfect God Spirit Blood Pulse. Mr. Yang's entire body felt refreshed. He felt like a teenager and was brimming with eagerness and energy. By the way, you can have the Holy One White Deer now, Han Sun said. He then provided Mr. Yang with the Holy One White Deer. If Mr. Yang encountered some trouble when he was not around, he could use the Holy One White Deer to bolster his safety a bit. Do not worry, mister. I will work hard on your shop. Mr. Yang was very excited. He never thought there'd come a day he could make use of a God-class gene race. Safety first. Just try your hardest within reasonable means. Han Sun waved and returned to his room. He laid down on the bed and pulled out the stone ocarina. Han Sun sighed and said, when the Destiny's Tower was destroyed, the ocarina little big sister Xiang Yin gave me was lost. I am so sorry. Han Sun put the stone ocarina near his mouth and played a song Xiang Yin had taught him. It was the same as before. Some smoke came out from the holes. It generated a cloud above it. The sound of crackling electricity was in the cloud. It was also like a whisper. Han Sun had heard that sound many times. He had no idea what it meant. He was really missing Xiang Yin, so he did not have the time to analyze those sounds. He just closed his eyes and kept playing. The sounds of the ocarina were quiet and sounded thin. The sonic powers were based on vibrational powers, but the sound of an ocarina made people's hearts feel calm. The soothing sounds of the acoustics calmed people who felt annoyed. Han Sun finished his song and stroked the stone ocarina. He opened his eyes. When he saw the cloud above his head, he was given a shock. When Han Sun played it before, he had heard some godly language speaking in a mumbling fashion. He never understood the meaning of it. This time he did not just hear the mumbling sounds. He saw gold lightning in the clouds. The weirder thing was that the electric symbols from the lightning were some symbols or text Han Sun had never seen before. He did not know what they were. For some reason, when he saw the electric text, he felt weird. It seemed as if he could read them and understand what they meant. Han Sun was feeling more awake. He stared at the clouds with the gold lightning, trying to remember it. As he did so, he felt more and more shocked. In a second, the lightning started to dim. The god sounds inside vanished, and the collection of clouds vanished. Han Sun quickly took out the stone ocarina again. He was going to play it. The clouds quickly returned. There were some chanting sounds now, but there were no more gold lightning symbols. Why is it like this? Han Sun tried it a few times. The results were the same every time. No matter how he played it, even if he tried to blow a whole song, there was still no gold lightning cloud showing up. Han Sun thought, holy crap! It is the same song, and it is the same ocarina. Why is there such a big difference? He tried to think if there was a big difference regarding the song he played earlier. When I played earlier, I did not think that much. I only thought about the past with little big sister Xiangyin. Now I thought about something else. If there is a difference, that would be it. Hansen tried to get back into the mood for playing the ocarina. Even if a person had the power to destroy the sky and the earth, emotions were not something that could be controlled. The heart sometimes shook. It might only last a second, but no one could control it. Hansen did not allow himself to think about it. He could not feel the emotions needed, so he gave up. If what was inside the gold lightning mark was real, that was too shocking. Hansen thought it was unbelievable. Although he had not read all of the lightning's text, just reading a single word was enough to be shocking. The words were how to create a god. The way to make a god had nothing to do with how to grow a god-class gene race. It was the way to make a real god spirit. Hansen had only seen one part of it. There was no beginning, and there was no end. That was all he could guess. How do I get the whole text? Hansen really wanted to figure out how to make a god spirit. He wondered if what was written up there was real or not. Sacrifice God Ocarina. The big sky demon revealed herself before Hansenator. She looked at Hansen's ocarina, and looked disturbingly excited. Hansen looked at the big sky demon and asked, "Do you know what this thing is?" The big sky demon replied, "It's called Sacrifice God Ocarina. It is an item for a god sacrifice." Her vision never moved away from the ocarina. "I know this is an ocarina," Hansen said with a frown. "I wanted to ask you what it is for." The big sky demon looked away and smiled. Just like the name suggests, it is an item for praying to a god spirit. What else is it for? Hansen looked at the big sky demon, and did not say anything. From the big sky demon to the ocarina, it was not as simple as she said. The big sky demon laid down next to Hansenator. She used her fingers to tilt Hansen's jaw. She seductively said, "Do not look at me like that. If you want to know things in detail, that is fine. But you are going to have to spend the night with me. I still have things to do. You can just play with yourself." Hansen jumped off the bed. The big sky demon did not have to tell him. He was going to figure out the lightning text in the cloud by himself. He would then figure out how to use the stone ocarina. Unfortunately, Hansen was not very good when it came to music. He only triggered the gold lightning because of his emotions for little big sister Xiangyin. He was not able to summon those emotions on a whim. He could not do it again. Hansen thought, "If I can't do it, it does not mean other people cannot do it. If Fang Yin really is little big sister Xiangyin reborn, she must be talented when it comes to music. Perhaps she can help me uncover the riddle behind this strange ocarina." He planned to ask Xiangyin for help. Chapter 3102 Steel Scene. Before Hansen went to find Feng Yin, Feng Feifei had already brought her to where he lived. "Sanmu, I had a discussion with my auntie," Feng Yin happily said as she tugged at his arms. "You should move into our house." Hansen looked at Feng Feifei. She smiled and said, "I still haven't paid you back for the favor of saving my life. Little Yin seems to get along with you very well. If you are willing, I would be happy to allow this." "Okay." Hansen smiled and agreed to the notion. He had something to ask Feng Yin, so he did not decline the invitation. Feng Feifei did not expect Hansen to agree so quickly. She was shocked. "Mr. Han, there is something I would like to ask you," Feng Fei said with a streak of seriousness. "I only have a lobby. I do not have a private study. If you do not mind doing so, please enter my room to have this discussion." Hansen knew Feng Feifei wanted to talk to him privately, so that was why he said that. Feng Feifei hesitated a little, but she ultimately agreed. "Okay." Hansen let Jiangshi take care of Feng Yin for the time being while he and Feng Feifei entered the room. Feng Feifei would not have entered a man's room under normal circumstances, but this was a very urgent matter. She did not care too much for how appropriate it was. She checked out Hansen's room in detail. The decorations were basic. It was just like how the hotel was supposed to look, which disappointed Feng Feifei. She thought people like Hansen would have some sort of fetish, but it was actually very normal. You can tell me anything, Han Sen said as he looked at Feng Fei and sat down on the couch. Feng Fei had a serious expression as she looked at Han Senator. She bowed and said, I am here to thank you for saving my life. I am also here to save your life. What do you mean? Han Sen looked at Feng Fei with interest. Feng Fei did not answer. Instead, she bluntly asked, Am I correct that it was you who killed Mr. Gong Shujin? Let's say I did. What about it? Han Sen did not deny it. Feng Fei sighed and said, Gong Shujin died because of me. I understand if Gong Shuji cannot let me go. If he really wants to kill me, he will kill you too. Are you saying it was Gong Shuji who did that to you at the party? Han Sen was shocked. Feng Fei nodded. I asked a friend to investigate. It was Gong Shuji. He used my best friend, Situya. Otherwise, I would not have come under the control of that gene race without being aware. While I thank you for saving me, this will only drive Gong Shuji to want to kill you more. Han Sen smiled at Feng Fei and asked, If you knew it was Gong Shuji and Situya, why are you letting them walk free? I do not want to let them go, but I can only watch them go. Yesterday they were invited to Ice Snow City. Feng Fei, upon seeing Han Sen appear confused, explained, Ice Snow City belongs to a god blood noble, Steel Scene. He inherited a god spirit blood pulse and has incredible power. Furthermore, Steel Scene has the kingdom's guard. He is an important character in the Qin kingdom. I am just a singer. Although I am quite famous, no one would dare offend Mr. Steel Scene on behalf of a singer. Why would Steel Scene seek to protect Gong Shuji? Han Sen quietly asked. According to the information I received, Gong Shuji collected many god-class gene races and gave them to Steel Scene. He now has Steel Scene's protection, and he will kill us both. When Feng Fei said that, she sounded sad. If it was just about Gong Shuji, Feng Fei could talk to him. A god-blood noble like Steel Scene was not someone she could afford to enrage. She could not just sweep this under the rug. Some nobles willing to help Feng Fei, but the conditions made her unwilling to accept. Feng Fei sought Han Sen out so the two of them could go against Steel Scene together. Other people did not know Han Sen's strength, but she knew. Han Sen was a god-blood noble. He was not as strong as Steel Scene, but he was not someone that could easily be killed. Plus, in Jade Wall City, Steel Scene was not able to randomly go and murder someone. Han Sen said anything. He looked a bit murderous. It was as if he had just made a decision. Han Sen decided to live with Feng Fei. He did not try to slow this process down. He had Jiang Shi and Mr. Yang pack their bags. They went to the castle in Jade Wall City that Feng Fei lived in. On this day, the castle was not very busy. It was rather quiet. Feng Fei had Han Sen occupy an independent sector. Han Sen and Feng Yinyin went to the garden to play. There was no one around. He took out the stone ocarina and gave it to Feng Yinyin. Little Yin, see if you can play a song with this. This ocarina is weird, so you need power to operate it. Although Feng Fei had greater power than Feng Yinyin, Han Sen did not fully trust her. He did not want her to see the gold lightning in the clouds. He only allowed Feng Yinyin to play with it. Let me try. Feng Yinyin took the stone ocarina and summoned the mutant 8-sound bug and autumn cicada. The two gene races combined. Combining with two gene races required a lot of will and vitality. Ordinary gene casters exhausted all their strength by attempting it. Feng Yinyin had only owned two gene races for a little while. Yet she was already able to combine the pair. She was very talented. After successfully combining, Feng Yinyin looked at Han Sen and asked, Sanmu, what song would you like me to play? Just play a song that evokes the most emotion, Han Sen quickly said. If he had guessed correctly, it was not a higher pitch in the music that made the gold lightning marks show up. It was all dependent on the amount of emotion that was put in. Feng Yinyin nodded. She thought for a moment before putting the stone ocarina next to her lips to play it. The ocarina was supposed to sound sad. Feng Yinyin's performance made people feel refreshed and rejuvenated. Han Sen's ears felt like new after listening to it. As Feng Yinyin played, some smoke came out of the ocarina. It created a cloud above her head. That cloud had a godly tone. It was like a god demon was praying inside. After a while, Hansen saw that the cloud had some gold lightning. There was more this time. It turned into the gold lightning mark. Hansen was happy. He observed the gold lightning marks to understand how amazing it all was. Chapter 3103 Cascade Court. At long last, he had had the chance to see the complete gold lightning mark. He now knew the lightning's language was Cascade Court. When he looked further down, Hansen felt rather strange. The Cascade Court detailed how to create a god. It was not about turning oneself into a god spirit. It was about turning a gene race into a god spirit. A gene race had 3 different stages of growth. They were defined as a juvenile, adult, or ultimate mode. Ordinary gene races would typically become adults, but only the most talented and best of the best could become ultimate. Their power enabled them to cast out unimaginably scary powers. If gene races wanted to grow up, they had to consume a lot of gene race flesh. It was the only way to nurture their growth. It did not matter if it was a god-class gene race or an ordinary gene race like a Viscount. Their biggest aspirations were to reach the ultimate stage. There was nothing beyond that achievement. Even the very rare Big Sky Demon gene race was only able to reach ultimate mode. That was where the evolution of every gene race came to an end. This Cascade Court skill was able to make an ultimate mode gene race ascend one more tier. It allowed a gene race to enter super mode to create a god spirit body. If Hansen was able to make his gene race become ultimate, they could become a god spirit. That meant he could potentially lead an array of god spirits, and even combine with the god spirit bodies. That type of battle power was almost unfathomable to imagine. According to the text, making a gene race become a god spirit was not easy though. It required god pulse support. The so-called god pulse was the blood dragon god pulse Hansen already had. It was a born universe life pulse god power. That meant it was a god spirit's original power. With a god pulse element that matched the gene race was also necessary. It was only then that a gene race could get help from the god pulse to aid its evolution. That was when it would become a god spirit that was above average. Even if one had a god pulse and an exclusive gene race, the success rate was still low. Not all gene races could become a god spirit with ease. Hansen thought that part was interesting, but it did not tempt him too much. He already had a god spirit, but becoming a god spirit was something the world was restricting him from doing. He could not summon it in the universe of kingdoms. The content at the end of the Cascade Court made Hansen open his eyes wide. The true goal of Cascade Court was not just to make a god spirit. It was to use a god spirit's combination power to break a barrier in space and enter the place where a sky full of worlds with reincarnation were unbound by the rules of the world and set free from the bindings of life and death. They were able to freely enter the reincarnation and sky full of worlds. If I can reach that level, I can just break the space barrier and return to the universe, Hansen happily thought. The more he looked at the writing, the more Hansen's face turned dire. According to what the text said, to reach that level, one had to forge a reboot class god spirit and combine with it. The rest of the gold lightning marks revealed a few cases of higher success rates with gene race evolutions. There was 10 Direction Sky World God King and Sky Full of Big Lust Demon God. In short, 10 Direction Sky World God King was World King God. According to legend, it was one of the rare gene races Qin Xiu had. The Sky Full of Big Lust Demon God, in short, was Big Sky Demon. It was the gene race with which he had established a strange connection. They all had a chance to become reboot class demon spirits. They were very rare gene races. Even if they did not become god spirits, if they at least reached ultimate mode, their power was enough to fight god spirits. They were naturally very powerful. There were only 5 gene races like that in the Cascade Court. Hansen hadn't heard of the other 3 before. There were also records about gene races being able to have a chance of reaching that level. But the gene races with a low potential had a lesser chance. Even the chances of World King God and Big Sky Demon succeeding was around 20 to 30%. The chances of other gene races were too low to imagine. I can't believe Big Sky Demon's rank is that high. It can be at the same level as Qin Xiu's World God King. This greatly surprised Han Senator. He already knew Big Sky Demon was strong, but he did not suspect she was that strong. Hansen wondered if the person stirring up a big storm in the Geno universe was World King God under Qin Xiu's control. It might have even been Qin Xiu himself. Otherwise, that was the only way Qin Xiu's blood being blue could be explained. The blood of the humans in the universe of kingdoms was red, so Qin Xiu's had to be the same. But World King God's blood was blue. Big Sky Demon takes the stone ocarina seriously. Does that mean she wants to use the Cast God Court to make a God Spirit body? Hansen wondered. After Feng Yin finished playing the song, she realized the clouds and lightning above her head. She was shocked and said, "Sanmu, this stone ocarina is weird. Why does it summon flowers and lightning?" Hansen pulled Feng Yin closer and said, "Little Yin, the stone ocarina and the flower lightning is our secret. Can you please not tell anyone about this?" "Not even Auntie?" Feng Yin asked. Hansen seriously replied, "Yeah, nobody. Only you and I can know." "Okay. This will be a secret between you and me only. I will not tell anyone." Feng Yin reached out her finger and smiled. "Let's make a pinky promise." "Okay. Pinky promise." Hansen hooked his pinky finger with the finger Feng Yin was extending. Their fingers touched each other. After discovering Cast God Court, Hansen had hope. Although he knew it would not be easy, there was a chance. The 5 gene races in the information provided were creatures Hansen could not claim yet. With Big Sky Demon next to him, there was little he could do about it. He did not know where the real body of Big Sky Demon resided. Hansen thought, although I do not have an ultimate gene race, a mutant god class gene race's success rate for becoming a god spirit is just a bit lower than an ultimate gene race. I have the Blood Ghost Spirit and Gold Wing Peacock King. I can try them, but where can I find a god pulse that suits them? The only thing that matches is the Blood God Dragon and Blood Dragon God Pulse. But the Blood God Dragon is in baby form. I need to make it an adult so it can have a chance of combining with the Blood Dragon God Pulse. Making a god spirit body will not be that easy. Thinking of that, Hansen looked into his Sea of Soul. He examined the Gold Wing Peacock King. It was still in egg mode. Its evolution had not finished. Feeding it myself is too slow. I do not have that much gene race meat to use. It looks like the Gold-Winged Peacock King has to finish evolving first, and use the black crystal armor to make the Blood God Dragon increase. Hansen made up his mind, but he had no idea when the Gold-Winged Peacock King would finish evolving. While Hansen was thinking about that, he suddenly heard a noise outside. He stood up and looked out the window. He saw many people wearing uniforms surrounding Feng Feifei's castle. Chapter 3104 Sacrifice Copper. Commander Liu, why are you here? What do you need? Feng Feifei took along a butler to welcome him in. She stood opposite the king's guards. The king's guard was in charge of Jade Wall City's defenses. There were 14 squadrons of riders in their midst, and there were 14 commanders. The commanders were controlled by Steel Scene. Steel Scene had 2 other subordinates, and that composed the whole of the king's guard. The 14 King's Guard squadrons were also referred to as the kingdom's 14 riders. Every leader was a very special character. The whole of the King's Guard was not entirely commanded by Steel Scene's decrees, but over half the commanders showed unyielding loyalty to him. This team was called the Thunder Lion Riders. They were in charge of the security in that area. The one known as Commander Liu Sanji was one of Steel Scene's favorites. Now he had brought the Thunder Lion Riders to Feng Feifei's house. It did not look like a social call, so Feng Feifei looked fairly glum. The Thunder Lion Riders have received a report there might be illicit items in the vicinity. We will need to search this area. So please cooperate. Liu Sanji was very strong. He was wearing scale armor, and he rode atop a male lion that wielded fire. He looked like some demon god from hell. He looked very scary. Feng Feifei frowned and asked, "Illicit items? What illicit items?" "That is classified," Liu Sanji coldly said. He waved his hands. "Go search but show some care." Feng Feifei frowned and said, "Hang on, Commander Liu. You cannot just barge into someone's residence like this. It is not appropriate. What? Are you going to question the king's guard? Lu Shanji's face did not change. He looked cold. Of course I will not. Feng Feifei knew she should not commit a crime. Going against the king's guard was practically the same as treason. That crime likely would have led to her death. If you are not, then you should go away. Lu Shanji commanded his soldiers to raid the castle. Feng Feifei was forced to call for her people to stand down and avoid initiating a conflict with the Thunder Lion riders. Otherwise, even if she was not guilty, she would be found guilty. It would have meant she went against the national law that governed the whole of the Qing kingdom. Feng Feifei knew that Lu Shanji was not there for a social visit, but there was nothing she could do about it. She had a lot of fame. She was one of the top 3 singers, but singers were only famous. Her status did not put her above the law. Normally, the nobles respected her. The king's guard would not have offended her for petty reasons. This was different. If Lu Shanji received the order from Steel Scene, nobody else's respect or authority would challenge it. Unless another big noble showed up, there was nothing she could. Last time, Feng Feifei rejected the help of the nobles. It was unlikely that any other big nobles would want to stick their neck out for her now. Lu Shanji did not go search. He just sat on the male lion, parked at the entrance, and waited for his men to finish the search. Hansen walked next to Feng Feifei and asked, "What happened?" "Commander Lu said my house is harboring a forbidden item," Feng Feifei said. Hansen looked at Feng Feifei, but did not speak. Feng Feifei knew what he meant. She looked at Han Sun and asked, "How could I hide a forbidden item? I think Steel Scene is merely trying to rattle us." "I do not think he is only trying to annoy us," Han Sun coldly said. Feng Feifei wished to say something, but she suddenly heard a Thunder Lion Rider soldier kneel in front of Lu Sanji and say, reporting to the commander, "We found lots of sacrifice copper in the basement." Feng Feifei's face changed as she shouted, "Impossible." "I will take a look to determine if this is true or not," Lu Sanji coldly said. He had his men cuff her. He then took her to the basement. Hansen followed Feng Feifei. She quickly walked to the basement. She looked inside. Some copper products formed a brick shape. The copper looked a bit weird. It was not ordinary copper, that was for sure. It was not yellow copper or purple copper. It had some weird blue color. It looked like blue copper bricks. "Feng Feifei, you have some cojones on you," Lu Sanji coldly shouted at Feng Feifei. "You have been hiding sacrifice copper here. Do you know what crime you have committed?" "Someone set me up. The sacrifice copper is not mine." Feng Feifei looked terrified. She stared at Lu Sanji. She did not know if it was Lu Sanji had planted it there and knew about this, or if she had a traitor in her midst. "There is nothing more you need to say. Take her to the King's Guards department first. I must examine this with greater care." Lu Sanji waved his hand and coldly shouted, "Someone get over here. Start packing this all up." Without waiting for Feng Feifei, all her men summoned their Jin races to go against the Thunder Lion Riders. They all looked ferocious. It was known that anyone taken to the King's Guards department was subject to torture. Simple torture was only reserved for the lucky ones. If one was unlucky, one never made it out. No one wanted to visit there. It was like going to hell. Feng Feifei did not know what to do. No matter how powerful she was, she could not battle the machine of the kingdom unless her career was as great as the singer Zhong Liqing. Many godblood nobles and kings would have paid attention so that the royal guard would not bully them. Clearly, Feng Feifei was not at that level. She did not expect Steel Scene would stoop so low. He wanted to take them all down without a fight. Once he had them taken to the King's Guards department, there would be no chance of them leaving alive. If they fought back, that was treason. They would die horribly. Even if they were able to leave, they could not escape Jade Wall City. Then it would not just be the Thunder Lion Riders. The entire kingdom would become their enemy. Feng Feifei did not have too much hope. She had no choice but to look at Han. Senator Hansen looked at Lu Sanji and asked, "Commander Lu, are you sure you want to take us back? You are Han Sun, right?" Lu Sanji looked at Hansen coldly as he spoke. "It looks like you know who I am," Hansen coldly said. Lu Sanji roughly grunted. It was you who created chaos at Feng Feifei's birthday party. I think you are the one who set up Feng Feifei. The sacrifice copper is your work. It was a ridiculous accusation. He had even tried to sever Han Sen's connection with Feng Feifei. Han Sen knew this must have been Steel Scene's ploy. Before Han Sen could speak, Lu Senji shouted, "What are you waiting for? Take this evil scumbag away." The Thunder Lion Rider's soldiers agreed. They readied themselves to fight. Han. Senator Lu Senji calmly sat atop the male lion. He peered at Han Sen with disdain. He looked at him as if he was looking at a dead man. At this time, shouting was heard from the outside. "Han Sen, where are you, Han Sen?" Everyone looked outside the door. A 13-year-old kid was shouting outside. His face looked like he was very barbaric and ignorant, but he did not look like one of the evil-looking king's guards. He barged in like a little bully from a village. Chapter 3105 The Loser Crown Prince. Mr. Crown Prince. Lu Senji saw the young man and was shocked. He quickly jumped off of the male lion and kneeled before the crown prince. Suddenly, all of the Thunder Lion riders did the same and kneeled. They all bowed before the young man. The young man did not care for their show. He walked in front of Han Sen and tugged at his hand. "Han Sen, why did you come to Jade Wall City and not inform me? If I had not heard about you beating up Do Tianyu at Feng Feifei's party, I would not have known that you were in Jade Wall City." The young man was Qin Kingdom's crown prince, Qin Bai. He was to be the successor, the future king of the Qin Kingdom. The king only had Qin Bai as a son, so it was only natural for him to be the destined king. The kingdom's palace is not someplace any commoner can go. Even if I wanted to look for you, I would have been unable to enter. Han Sen laughed. "I see. That is my mistake. Let's go to the palace together now." Qin Bai pulled Han Sen to leave with him. He was like a big child. In fact, he was a child. He was only around 13 years old. Ordinary kids had fun at that age. "Mr. Crown Prince, this guy is involved with hiding sacrifice copper," Lu Senji quickly said. "I need to take him to the King's Guards Department for investigation." "What do you mean hiding sacrifice copper? I want him. Can I have him?" Qin Bai looked at Lu Senji with annoyance. Lu Senji quickly bowed and said, "Please forgive me, Mr. Crown Prince. Sacrifice copper is important for this kingdom. It is a matter of the kingdom's reputation. The kingdom has a rule that states whoever stores sacrifice copper is in big trouble. To hold more than 1 kilogram results in execution. There are at least 100 kilograms of sacrifice copper here. His entire family should be slain." "Pat!" Before Lu Senji finished speaking, Qin Bai slapped him across the face. Lu Senji could have dodged the strike, but he did not dare evade the prince. He didn't use any power to fight Qin Bai either. He accepted the slap. His face went red. 5 clearly defined fingerprints were on his cheeks. "I am doing stuff. Do I need you to teach me?" Qin Bai looked angry as he stared at him. He had an overbearing face that showed he was the boss. He was the poster child of a spoiled brat. The slap made Han Sen happy. Feng Feifei was happier too. She had not suspected that Han Sen had a relation with the crown prince, Qin Bai. "Mr. Crown Prince, the kingdom has its laws, and the family has family rules. The sacrifice copper." Lu Senji did not dare fight back. He kneeled in front of him, but he did not scurry away. He still wished to speak. "Pat!" Qin Bai slapped him a second time across his other cheek. This time, he slapped him even harder. Lu Senji's mouth was full of blood. Lu Senji opened his mouth, still wishing to speak, but he could not get a word out before Qin Bai smacked him again. The things he wanted to say were forbidden by a slap and a face full of blood. Qin Bai madly shouted at Lu Senji. "This sacrifice copper was put in his house by me. Are you going to kill me too? Are you going to kill my entire family?" Lu Senji's face changed. His body shook. His back developed a cold sweat that soaked into his clothes. He knew the sacrifice copper did not belong to Han Sen or Feng Feifei, but he also knew it did not belong to Qin Bai. After Qin Bai said that, he did not say anything to the contrary. To kill the king's family was not some sort of crime that the king's guard leader could commit. Not even a general could commit a crime like that. I wouldn't dare, Lu Sanji said. I did not know the sacrifice copper belonged to the crown prince. Please forgive me. He swallowed the blood in his mouth and kowtowed before Qin Bai. He could not afford to commit a crime like that. If you knew you were wrong, then get lost. You are all useless. Qin Bai did not even look at Lu Sanji. He coldly grunted like a tyrant. Lu Sanji was furious. He thought he could capture Han Sun and Feng Feifei in one fell swoop. He thought he could take them back to the King's Guard department. He was to return empty-handed. All he had managed to get was a swollen face. He could not take back the 100 kilograms of sacrifice copper either. Now Qin Bai was there, and he took the sacrifice copper. There was no way he could take Han Senator. He bowed before Qin Bai and ferociously stared at Han Senator. He gathered his Thunder Lion Rider soldiers and left. Feng Feifei and the others were as much shocked as they were delighted. They thought they were going to be killed. Who would have known that the very famous and spoiled crown prince would swoop in out of nowhere to protect them all and beat up someone like Lu Sanji in front of everyone? They thought it was amazing. Han Sen knew why many people wanted to become king, and why everyone wanted to become a tyrant. Being a tyrant or a bad king was better than being a good king. A spoiled crown prince like Qin Bai could do whatever he wanted. He was allowed to be as spoiled as he wanted to be. He could have all the goods and not care about how others felt. Still, what Qin Bai did there made Han Sun and the others very happy. He wouldn't mention anything about him being a loser. Han Sun, you are safe now. Please come back to the palace with me. You are here at a perfect time. You must avenge me. Qin Bai tugged at Han Sun with major excitement as he spoke. Mr. Crown Prince, what happened today is over, but this is not over, Han Sun said with a sigh. I am afraid I cannot come to the palace with you yet. What else do you need to do? I thought I sorted out the sacrifice copper issue for you. Lu Sanji won't dare trouble you again. Qin Bai was surprised. Lu Sanji is just a small character that does the bidding of others. The person that wants me dead is the King's Guard General, Steel Scene. Han Sun explained what happened to him. Gong Shuji should be dead by now. You should have killed him. Now he has run to Steel Scene, who is in Ice Snow City. This is very bad. Qin Bai looked troubled. Although he could do whatever he wanted to with his authority, it was not as if he was unafraid of things. There were still some things he feared. Aside from the emperor himself, there were a few people who frightened him. Qin Bai was scared of a few grand teachers. They were the only ones who dared to hit him, so he was afraid of them. Regarding Steel Scene, he had quite the position in the hierarchy of the Qin kingdom. Although he did not know much about things, he knew how scary that person was. He might not have feared him, but he would not treat Steel Scene the same way he treated Lu Sanji. He thought about it. Qin Bai suddenly looked quite cocky. He said, "That is fine. You and Feng Feifei can go to the palace with me. I do not think Steel Scene will try and get at you by going to the palace." Feng Feifei and the others heard his words. She displayed a wry smile. A place like a palace was not somewhere a commoner could waltz in and out of. Even if Qin Bai wanted them to go there, they could not stay there for long. Otherwise, the other superiors eventually would have objected to their presence. They might have even given him a hard time or said things like, "They don't know anything." "Mr. Crown Prince, this has to be sorted out sooner or later," Han Sun said. "If you keep navigating around the issue, it only delays what is inevitable. I do not need to go to the palace. But can I ask you for a favor? Oh, just tell me. If I can help you out, I will definitely do so." Qin Bai patted himself on the chest as he spoke. Chapter 3106 Exclusive Sea Ming Demon Race. Upon reading Lu Sanji's report, Steel Scene coldly said, "This is ridiculous. Mr. Scene, Han Sen has a special connection with the Crown Prince," Lu Sanji said. "I don't think taking him down will be as easy as we initially presumed." Steel Scene seemed disdainful. He said, "The Big Qin Kingdom was built by the likes of us. Our king is a smart man. He is a good man. He will not allow the Crown Prince to do ridiculous things. We must remove this evil person from existence. lest bad things befall the kingdom through his doing. But the crown prince is in Feng Feifei's castle. There is nothing we can do. Lu Senji looked troubled. His face still hurt. He did not dare go to the Feng family's household to try and capture them again. Steel Scene waved his hand. There is no need to go. If we really want to kill him, we do not need to take him away. We can eliminate him from miles away. What do you mean? Lu Senji asked as he looked at Steel Scene with confusion. Steel Scene smiled. He randomly took out a gene race. This gene race was in the shape of a bronze, old person. It was Gong Shuji's Si Ming demon race. That old guy, Gong Shuji, had a god-class Si Ming demon race. He got it from a mysterious land pulse. It is a fairly rare gene race, and it just so happens to match my god spirit blood pulse. I have looked for him many times to buy it, but he denied my request many times. This time he came to me. Now I have this exclusive Si Mine demon race. We can try to use it on Han Sr. I have heard the Si Mine demon race requires genes from the victim. Lu Senji said. Hansen must be on the defensive now, so I don't think obtaining his genes will be easy. Steel Scene looked at the Si Ming demon race with obsession in his eyes. That was because it was Gong Shuji using of it. He knows how to dig up land pulses, but he is rubbish when it comes to using gene races. The Si Ming demon race is such a powerful gene race, yet it was squandered by this pathetic inability to wield it correctly. If he was half decent, Feng Feifei would not be alive. Steel Scene reached out his hand to touch the Si Ming demon race. It was like he was touching the skin of a lover. He kept talking to himself, saying, the power of a Si Ming demon race is not something simple. It is fortunate it matches my god spirit blood pulse. I have turned it into an exclusive gene race. That way it is more powerful. Lu Senji looked at the Si Ming demon race with curiosity. He had never seen one before. Having a proper look at it now, he saw that it was in the shape of a man without a face. When he looked closely, it was not just a simple bronze statue. The bronze man had some blood vessels. They were like red lines that were squiggled all over. Do you see the red lines? Steel Scene asked. That is what happens after the Si Ming demon race becomes an exclusive gene race. It has been improved by my Si blood pulse. Now the Si Ming demon race does not require Hansen's genes. We can kill him. He extended a finger on his right hand and cut it. He was going to use his own blood. The bronze man did not have eyes, a nose, or a mouth. He wrote down the words Hansen on it. He wrote down the Hansen's name with his own blood. The bronze man suddenly flickered with a strange bloodlight. The bloodlight looked contagious. The Si Ming demon race's bloodlines lit up. They were getting brighter and brighter. The Si Ming demon race kept changing within the weird bloodlight. It looked like its shape was morphing into that of Han. Senator Steel Scene looked cocky. He said, the real power of the Si Ming demon race is like a fate power of sorts. The low-tier way to use it is to obtain the genes of the foe you wish to eliminate. You can get that from a strand of hair or a flake of dandruff. That is the lowest level of how this is used. The proper way to use it is not that hard. You just need the name of your foe. Then fate power will work. It will activate the Si Ming demon race. Of course, it needs to be the name the opponent always uses. It could be a nickname. The name is just a symbol of fate. If he uses that symbol very often, even if it is not the real name, it will be imbued with the power of fate. It will connect with him. The Si Ming demon race is so powerful. Lu Senji happily said. Hansen is so going to die now. When the bloodlines twisted, the bronze person adopted Hansen's face upon its own. Lu Senji complimented it, saying, that really is Hansen's face. Mr. has a Si Ming demon race as an exclusive gene race. You will be improved. You will be more powerful than Sangong. Steel Scene laughed. His power cannot be destroyed by the Si Ming demon race. The Si Ming demon race is strong, but it does have a weakness. If the opponent is too strong or has a powerful god spirit blood pulse to protect them, the power of the Si Ming demon race will not work. It will be consumed. Lu Senji immediately looked worried. I have heard Hansen might be a god blood noble. Will he be immune to the power of the Si Ming demon race? Steel Scene coldly laughed and said, even if he is a god blood noble, he will not be as good as my ice snow god's blood pulse. Plus, I have the SI blood pulse and land pulses. With these 2 blood pulse spoons, even if he is a god blood noble, he will die. While he was talking, the SI Ming demon race adopted Han Sen's face. Ice Snow Planet was one of Jade Wall City's planets. Ice Snow City was built onto it. The center of it had an ice and snow temple. Steel Scene's family had a god blood pulse from Ice Snow God. He was able to talk to and combine with Ice Snow God. It was not like any ordinary god spirit blood pulse. Even a perfect god spirit blood pulse was not as good as the Steel family's Ice Snow blood pulse. That blood pulse was inherited, which meant everyone from the Steel family was born with the Ice Snow God spirit blood pulse. If they wished to combine with Ice Snow God, they had to do it in Ice Snow God Temple. There were many land pulses and gene races on Ice Snow Planet. The Steel family operated Ice Snow Planet, but they did not have businesses there. It was hard to get rich by depending on themselves. Regarding Steel Scene's family, there had been 3 generations. There had also been 3 generations of generals in the King's Guard. With a career like that, Ice Snow Planet had become very rich. Han Sen was walking on Ice Snow City's streets. He was going to the Steel Manor. He saw the 9-foot-tall metal door and a palace-like building beyond it. Han Sen had a cold smile on his face. He did not like trouble. He did not want to trouble others either. If trouble came knocking on his door, he made sure to end that trouble and ensure it never came back to haunt him. Steel Manor was built around Ice Snow God Temple. Han Sen stood in front of the gates and saw the icy-looking God Temple. Let me go in. Let me see how strong God-blood nobles are here. Han Sen stepped forward. He was headed for the Steel Manor's doors. Han Sen was 300 feet away from the gate when the guard started shouting, "This is Steel Manor. Trespassing is not allowed." Chapter 3107 Going to Steel Manor. Mister, there is a person who calls himself Han Sen here. He is looking for you. Steel Scene was going to activate the SI Ming demon race's power. He wanted to kill Han Senator suddenly. Someone was out there making this report. What? Han Sen dared come to Ice Snow City? Lu Senji was furious. Steel Scene frowned and asked, "How many people did he bring?" "Just one," the guard replied. "Just one?" Steel Scene was shocked. "Mister, that guy must have come prepared," Lu Senji quickly said. "What can he actually hope to achieve in my manor?" Steel Scene coldly asked. "I want to see what he hopes to do. Invite him into the lobby." Ice Snow City was his nest. Even top-class elites of the Qin Kingdom were always careful in that place. Now it was Han Sen and he was alone. Steel Scene's heart jumped. He put the SI Ming demon race, which had turned into Han Sen's face, into his god spirit mark. He had everything prepared. He just needed to activate it and kill Han Senator, but he did not have his genes. Using his own blood to kill someone did have its downsides. If there was a problem, using the opponent's genes to kill them did not do much harm to the caster. If he used his own blood to kill, and the skill was reversed, he would suffer big damage. After all, using blood to kill was like using Steel Scene's blood. Yet, Steel Scene was able to use his will to lock onto Han Senator it connected to him. Otherwise it was just a name. Someone might have had the same name as Han Senator Steel Scene, and Lu Senji saw Gong Shuji and Si Tuya waiting outside. "Mr. Scene, Han Sen dared come to Steel Manor," Gong Shuji said while gnashing his teeth. "This will be a good chance to eliminate him. Please go and kill him. Avenge my son's death." "Of course. But before that, let's hear what he has to say." Steel Scene walked into the lobby. Gong Shuji did not dare deny or say anything rash to Steel Scene, so he said, "Mr. Scene, I will go with you. I want to watch him die." "Fine," Steel Scene coldly replied. Gong Shuji followed Steel Scene. Lu Senji was on the other side of him. With one on the left and one on the right, they walked into the lobby together. Si Tuya hesitated to go, but she still followed. Han Sen was admiring a painting on the wall. He saw Steel Scene arrive. He looked at the leader and asked, "Are you Steel Scene?" Yes, I am Steel Scene. Steel Scene sat on the primary seat. His overbearingness accidentally showed up. He looked at Hansen emotionlessly and asked, "Why have you sought me out?" He knew everything about Han Senator. He had watched the videotape Lu Senji had brought, which was about Han Senator. Had he not, he would have been unable to target Han Sr. "I have come here to ask you to kill Gong Shuji and see Tuya," Hansen coldly said. "If you do that, I can pretend nothing happened regarding the sacrifice copper. I can let bygones be bygones." After hearing Hansen say that, Lu Senji shouted, "How dare you?" Gong Shuji looked at Steel Scene and said, "This person is crazy. Please kill him." Steel Scene ignored them. He coldly looked at Han Sr. "The Qin Kingdom has its laws. Do you think you can be friends with the Crown Prince, and then suddenly be able to do whatever you want? The Crown Prince is not the king yet. Even if he was, he could not disregard the laws and allow evil people to do whatever sordid deeds they wished." "I think what you say is quite righteous," Hansen coldly said. "Are you mocking me?" Steel Scene had been a superior for a long time. He did not use gene races, but that feeling of superiority made people feel pressured. It was like his eyes had blades in them. People's legs felt soft in his presence. It was a shame that power only worked on others. Hansen broke the sky and the ground. He had even broken god temples. It didn't work on him. Hansen ignored him and said, "I did not come here on behalf of the Crown Prince. I am here to reason with you. I am just going to ask you again. Are you going to kill Tuya and Gong Shuji, yes or no? What if I don't kill them?" Steel Scene's eyes were like that of a hawk. They peered at Han Senator even without looking mad. His emotions were very scary. "Mr. Scene, I do not want too much blood on my hands," Hansen said with a sigh. Hansen was being honest. He did not want to kill unless he had to. He preferred solving his problems with as little of a death toll as possible. He did not want to get his hands dirty. From the perspective of Steel Scene and the others, his words had made him seem very ignorant. Lu Senji and the others had already shouted. Steel Scene was very angry. He laughed and said, "Fine. Fine. Fine. I would like to see you covered in blood in my manner." Hansen knew this was not negotiable. He stopped talking. He summoned the blood ghost spirit and combined with it. At the same time, he summoned the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse and combined with that too. The blood dragon god spirit blood pulse had purple scales. They wrapped around Han Senator. The blood ghost spirit made his hair very long and red. He also grew a monkey's tail. Hansen's eyes were affected by the blood dragon god spirit blood pulse and blood ghost spirit. They changed to a weird purple and red color. His body glowed with purple and red as well. It made him look like an evil demon. "How dare you use a gene race in steel manner? You should die." Lu Senji combined with a thunder fire lion. His punch had thunder and fire as it came at Han Senator. The thunder fire power turned into a male lion that was pouncing at Han Senator. It was full of scary and explosive power. Gong Shuji hated Han Senator. He attacked alongside Lu Senji. He combined with a god-class gene race, in Wolf. He had leveled it up to ultimate mode. That was his strongest gene race. Gong Shuji's had the ears of a wolf, and his back developed a wolf's tail. His body was covered with black fur. He released a cold, black air. He gathered up power in his hands and reached toward Hansen's head. That cold, black air changed into the head of a black wolf. Situya gnashed her teeth. Her mouth let out some bird sounds. The noises were reminiscent of a lark, but the acoustics created many shock waves. The shock waves were like a tidal wave going to the Thunder Fire Lion and Black Wolf head. The powers of the Thunder Fire Lion and Black Wolf head were doubled. The two scary powers were like a tidal wave buffed by sonic powers. They raged toward Han Senator. Hansen looked chill as he faced it. He raised a fist. Purple and red air went into his fists. The sound of a dragon's cry was heard. Steel Scene madly shouted, "Oh no! He really is a god-blood noble. You guys should run." It was too late. Hansen used the Blood God Dragon combined gene skill and Blood Dragon flying into the sky. Weird scene. His fist released a purple and red head. It roared. It looked incredibly overbearing. It destroyed everything. The Thunder Fire Lion and Black Wolf head blew up. The purple and red head still went forward. Chapter 3108 Blood Dragon flying into the sky. Steel Scene suddenly turned into an ice and snow battle god. His black hair was now snow white. His skin was crystallized. His entire body unleashed an aura of cold air. Snowflakes surrounded him. He punched toward Han Sen's blood dragon flying into the sky. Weird scene, but it was too late. Boom. Lu Sanji and Gong Shuji, who were both up ahead, were blasted away by the blood dragon flying into the sky. Weird scene's power. It broke the lobby's walls. Si Tuya was covered in blood as she retreated. The power of the blood dragon flying into the sky. Weird scene went on to collide with Steel Scene's ice snow god power. The entire lobby's ceiling was lifted. It was like the lobby in the palace was shattered. Hansen, do you really dare attack? Steel Scene looked glum. He stood in the ruins of the hall. His head full of white hair was waving. He coldly stared at Han. Senator. Many elites in the Steel Manor came rushing in. All of them were unleashing the presence of powerful gene races. They surrounded the entire area. Gong Shuji and Lu Sanji were picked up by people, but their wounds were too severe. They kept gushing blood. Someone used a healing power gene race to patch up their wounds, but the effects were minimal. Mr. Scene, I told you I did not want blood on my hands, Hansen coldly said. But you just had to be so stubborn, didn't you? I had no choice. Steel Scene was furious. He laughed and asked, do you really think you can do whatever you want just because you're a god-blood noble? I was going to kill you and leave it at that as a gift for the crown prince. I guess I won't have to be so thoughtful now. After that, Steel Scene's heart skipped. The Si Ming demon race, which looked like Hansen, appeared. Steel Scene's ice and snow body began to discharge a black mist. His hand touched the head of the Si Ming demon race. A scary black smoke covered the sky and went to the Si Ming demon race's body. Is that the gene race that harmed Feng Fei Fei? Hansen looked at the Si Ming demon race. He saw the Si Ming demon race looked exactly like him, so he quickly recognized what it was. Hansen, do you dare to make a scene in my ice snow city? That is a death wish, but I will not let you die so easily. Steel Scene coldly looked at Han. Senator. The black smoke kept going to the Si Ming demon race. The Si Ming demon race suddenly bled all over. It was bad. It was like a ghost. It reached out its hand. Its 10 fingers were very sharp as they poked toward its face. The fingers went into its face, piercing through the eyes. The face had 10 bloody holes. The blood oozed out like a spring. I am going to make you skin yourself alive, Steel Scene evilly said. I am going to make you take out your own bones, so that the entire world will know what will happen to them if they try to challenge me. He then looked at Han. Senator. If this was an ordinary case, Hansen should have been doing the same thing as the Si Ming demon race. He should have been using his fingers to perforate his own eyes and dig into his cheeks. Yet Hansen was still stoically standing. Without moving, he gazed in Steel Scene's direction. His expression did not look like it was going to change. He was not using his hands to pierce through his eyes and face. Impossible, Steel Scene was shocked. The Steel family had been in charge of the King's Guard for 3 generations. Even a royal blood pulse feared the Steel family. That always lent to his overbearingness. If it was an elite who was famous, Steel Scene would have perhaps been a bit afraid. He would not have just fight them so rashly. Hansen, on the other hand, was just an outsider. He was a nobody. Even if he had godblood genes, he was just a new noble without a background. Thus, Steel Scene never thought about taking him seriously. Now, Hansen was even unaffected by the Si Ming demon race. Steel Scene was forced to take him seriously. Go to hell! Steel Scene madly shouted. The mist on his body was like a tidal wave headed straight for the Si Ming demon race. The Si Ming demon race's fingers used all their strength to pierce through the skull. It was like it was going to rip its head in half. Ark! Steel Scene suddenly screamed. Blood spilled. His entire body was tossed away by an invisible power. He struck the wall of the palace. The entire palace proceeded to collapse. The Si Ming demon race's power belonged to the element of fate. Even if faced with a god blood noble, with Steel Scene's Si Ming demon blood pulse buff, he could have damaged the god blood noble. Han Sen was different. He did not belong to that world. There was no fate for him in that world. The Si Ming demon race's power did not work on him. At this time, Steel Scene's face was bleeding. He was like a demon. He stood up from among the palace ruins with a face covered in blood. The Si Ming demon race had a lot of black air in it. Suddenly, it went from displaying Han Sen's face to that of the bronze man again. Clearly, the power was broken. It no longer worked. Today I only came here for Gong Shuji, Situya, Lu Sanji, and Steel Scene. I do not want to hurt anyone else. If someone tries to stop me, it means nothing for me to reap a few more souls. Han Sen's body exploded with blood air. He threw a punch toward the heavily injured Gong Shuji. The blood dragon roared. He made the super overbearing sound go with it. It went for Gong Shuji. Help, Mr. Scene. Gong Shuji yelled with shock. He was running away, pleading for aid. It was too late. The power of the blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene power arrived directly in front of him. Gong Shuji's only option was to use his power and try and block it. Boom. Gong Shuji's body, along with the Een Wolf combined with him, turned into a bloody mist. A few of the Steel Manor guards sought to help block the attack. They only ended up coughing up blood and flying away. It was unknown whether or not they were alive or dead. The absolute overbearing power shocked many of the Steel Manor's elites. That power was more than what people could imagine. Han Sen did not stop there. He looked at Situya and stared at the frightened woman. Her legs were soft as she retreated. No. Please don't kill me. Han Sen did not say anything. He used his blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene's evil overbearing power. He threw a punch at Situya. This time, no one dared to help Situya block that scary power. The Scene family and guards all fell back. Situya was eaten by the power of the blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. She also turned into a bloody mist. Han Sen wanted to kill Lu Sanji, but Steel Scene madly ran before him and yelled, "How dare you? Go kill him." With Steel Scene's order, the guards and family members did not fall back. They gathered up power and went for Han. Senator Steel Scene summoned an exclusive ice snow god gene race, Snow Mountain God Ape. With the gene combined skill and snow god roar, he went for Han Sen's blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. Boom. The blood was waving. It was extremely overbearing and destroyed everything. Steel Scene and the other Steel Manor elites fell back. They all looked terrible. The blood dragon god spirit blood pulse power, combined with the exclusive blood god dragon gene race and blood ghost spirit's power buff, made Han Sen stronger than ordinary people. Kill him. I said to go kill him. Steel Scene was very angry. He commanded the guards and family members to kill Han Senator. He then fell back and ran to the Ice Snow God Temple. He wanted to combine with Ice Snow God and kill the crazy Han Sen where he stood. He was not going to let him leave Steel Manor alive. Chapter 3109 Ice Snow Goddess. Han Sen was not in a rush to chase after Steel Scene. He threw a punch toward Lu Sanji. Lu Sanji was already heavily injured. He was unable to block the strike. With all of the guards and workers there, Han Sen was still able to kill him with one strike via his blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene. The blood dragon flying into the sky weird scene was a very overbearing gene combined skill. The blood god dragon was still in juvenile mode, but it was still very strong. It was able to kill every opponent that stood in its way. If the blood god dragon reached ultimate mode, Han Sen could not fathom how scary of a creature it would become. Many guards and workers were terrified in Steel Manor. Ice Snow City was far away from Jade Wall City. Teleporters were required to go there. Jade Wall City was connected with that planet, and it was the base of operations for the King's Guard. No one had ever dared to stir up trouble there before. Now someone was doing just that. He had gone to Steel Manor and made a godblood noble like Steel Scene escape into his god temple. How scary was Han Sen? They were not able to imagine it. The guards and workers knew they were unable to fight, but they still went to tackle Han's senator. No one chose to run away. The Qin kingdom was different from the other 6 kingdoms. Once upon a time, the Qin kingdom had almost conquered the entire universe. When Qin Xiu vanished, it became weaker and was almost destroyed by another kingdom. After that, the Big Qin kingdom established a system of laws that the previous kingdom's era did not have. A reward and punishment system was put in place. It made the Qin kingdom go from being bad to strong. In the river of time, it was unknown how many kingdoms had risen and fallen, but the Qin kingdom was still developing. It had become one of the 7 big kingdoms. Its law was one of its greatest accomplishments. The laws of the Qin kingdom were far from perfect. The nobles had many special authorities. Compared to the other kingdoms, it was a special case. No matter if a person was a commoner or a noble, if a person spoke, there were laws. They were proud of the laws. Even the current was always challenged by his subordinates due to the law system. The Qin kingdom's laws had a nice side, but there was a cruel side. If the guards and workers had decided to run off, they would not have been the only ones punished. Their families also would have been punished. It was hard to fathom that kind of cruelty. Many people preferred dying to having their families killed. Therefore, they expected to die in this battle. Han Sen understood that. He also did not want to have needless amounts of blood on his hands. After he killed Lu Senji, the big dragon on his fists roared. It blasted a path toward the Ice Snow God Temple. The 3,000 sets of steel armor could not block the blood dragon flying into the sky. Weird Scene's overbearing power. They tried blocking ahead of him, but it blasted a path through all of those guards and workers. No one was able to stand before him and prohibit his advance. Steel Scene had already escaped and retreated into Ice Snow God Temple. He wiped the blood from his face and donned a murderous look. The Steel family were all god blood nobles, and 3 generations of that family had been in charge of protecting Jade Wall City. They were the generals of the King's Guard. Their authority was very high. They had never been humiliated like this before. Now someone was coming after him and beating him. Steel Scene was very angry. He wanted to kill Han's senator. After he went to the god temple, he cut open his hand and let the blood drip onto the stone stove on the god altar. He kneeled before Ice Snow Goddess and prayed. He activated his Ice Snow God Spirit Blood Pulse. Ice Snow Goddess's statue was like a crystal made of jade, or some fairy from a cold palace. White veils obscured her face. No one was able to clearly see her face. Only her eyes showed, which made people feel her holiness. People never dared to stare. It was like setting their eyes on her was blasphemy. Steel Scene's body had ice and snow air rising from it. It was like fire shooting into the sky. The god stove emitted an icy fire. That statue looked as if it was being summoned into existence. It reacted with Steel Scene and the god stove. It released scary ice and snow air. Invisible light slowly showed up on the god statue. It was like an ice snow goddess was emerging from a godly place. It had infinite power surging through it. The whole of the Ice Snow God Temple was frozen because of the power. Everything had a layer of ice. Even the air appeared to be frozen. Feeling that scary presence, Steel Scene was very happy. He raised his head and looked upon the god statue. The Ice Snow Goddess's light was clear. It was above the god stove. It was like it was looking down on everyone. Steel Scene quickly kowtowed before Ice Snow Goddess and implored. Steel family's 9th generation son Steel Scene, I beg for you to combine with me and defeat an enemy. Ice Snow Goddess had granted the Steel family a god spirit blood pulse. She was the guardian of the Steel family, as well as a partner to the Steel family. As a matter of fact, Ice Snow Goddess was more like the god that the Steel family prayed to. Aside from the 1st generation, when the Steel family's alpha was given approval by Ice Snow Goddess, other family members had to make a request if they wanted to combine with Ice Snow Goddess. They were not able to control it. According to the ancient contract, I grant you unlimited god power until the world ends. A cold, godly voice said. Ice Snow Goddess's light descended on Steel Scene. Ice Snow Goddess's god spirit body turned into ice light snow air. It went into Steel Scene's head. He accepted the invasion of scary power. He stood up and released a cold flame. Han Sen entered the Ice Snow God Temple. He saw Steel Scene had combined with Ice Snow Goddess. Steel Scene stood in front of the god altar. His head had an icy flame. A god spirit, which looked like ice light, had ascended. He wore icy armor. A crystal-looking snow crown was on his head. Steel Scene heard the sound of Han Sun entering. He turned around and looked at the door. When he saw Han Sun, he quickly became murderous. He stared at Han Sun and madly said, "You only have a god spirit blood pulse, yet you act so cocky. Today, I will let you know who was chosen by a god. I will let you see the real person who was chosen by a god. The Qin Kingdom's laws will not be able to deal with you, and I cannot have you. You must live. You must live to watch me break your blood pulse and skin you alive." Steel Scene bit his teeth as he spoke. He was very angry. Throughout the Steel family's 9 generations, they had never been humiliated before. He could not accept that slander. If he did not rip Han Sun apart, the Steel family would be embarrassed. How could he stand before Jade Wall City like that? He was the leader of the King's Guard. If he could not protect his home, how was he supposed to protect Jade Wall City? Steel Scene was furious, but he felt Ice Snow Goddess's power on him deplete. It was strange. The ice armor and crown melted away. The Ice Snow Goddess, which had almost finished the combination process, quickly escaped his body. She floated above the altar. What is this? Steel Scene was shocked. He looked at the shadow of the Ice Snow Goddess upon the altar. In the Steel family's history, this had never happened before. Ice Snow Goddess did not answer. She did not even look at him. She flew to the ground and walked before Han Senator. She bowed and lowered her head to him. "Greetings, Mr. I am Ice Snow Goddess. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.